The Earth is very flat.
What's going on, everybody? It is Thursday, May 27th, 2021. This is Brandon, host of Brandon's Show. Hope everybody is having a good day out there. We've got Logan's Run, page 42, Paul Cruikshank, Gadget Inspector, Ian Adams, YouTube, Dan Morris. Let's see who else we got. You guys are busy. Enigma, Nick, Matrix Media, Brandon Cook, and Bill G back on top. What's going on? How you guys doing? And where's Wally? Just stopped into. Anyway, what do we got going on tonight? I got a story I found that we'll bring up once I go into Discord. It will surprise you at all, but it will be humorous nonetheless. So I'll just tease that and wait until I get in there to give the punchline to that one. And then we're going to start off the first hour and a half with just flat earthers, since we didn't have a show yesterday. And then, of course, tomorrow, twice in 1 week, we'll have Friday night fights. So 2 fight nights this week. Hope we can handle that. But let's go see how everyone's doing.
It only echoes if somebody else talks. If no one talks, it's not going to echo. There's nothing to echo if no one's talking.
That's cool. I did a debate Tuesday night with McToon. I guess. Wait. Tonight? I thought since he didn't have it last night, he's gonna do the 1 hour flat earth only.
I hope so, man. I like those hours. Those are good hours. You know.
Indeed, the hour has begun.
Yeah.
Brian, you have an echo. I told him 5 minutes ago. He don't listen.
Brian, it is pretty bad. It's very distracting.
I'll go away if you want, bro.
What? I don't want you to go away.
No, man, just mute when you're not talking.
Yeah, just remember.
No, don't go
mute.
away. You got like
Jeremy, man.
AirPods or something?
I got a debate with I did a debate with McToon Tuesday, and to show him, man, finally, he had to humble himself on a couple things, man, which hard to get people like him to do, man. But he was trying to tell me that pressure. He's an intelligent guy. I'll give him that, man. He's one of the better debaters, but he's stubborn. He didn't want to that to cool things down, you have to get the pressure lower and lower. The lower the pressure, the colder you can make things. And he had it backwards. He thought that to cool things down, you had to pressurize them. And I corrected him on that. And then I had to correct him on the fact that to get a rainbow indoors, you need a reflective surface to go along with it, showing his explanation of an indoor rainbow. But the whole ceiling of the garage that the guy demonstrated in is a big reflector. It's made out of like a shiny metallic. And the science, some of their science says that you could have a first order rainbow with just the reflection coming off the raindrops or the ice. But in reality, so you could say, yeah, look, I could demonstrate that outdoors and just spray a hose, and there you got a rainbow. But indoors, why doesn't that work? Because reflective surface. Now that kind of indicates some kind of dome. I'm not necessarily arguing for a dome, but I will argue that indoors you need some type of reflective surface or refractive surface to get a rainbow with spray.
Chemo taught everyone earlier in GEMS that we have lunar rainbows. That was neat.
Lunar rainbows. I've never heard of that before. Is that a real thing?
I mean, Chemo knows this stuff. He's a man of much knowledge. You know, he's a gentleman and a scholar.
That's how I always think of him too.
Yeah, he's a gentleman. He won't even say poop.
Really? He doesn't cuss?
They got a clip of him cussing one time. I think that was it. But generally, yeah, he won't. He's a gentleman, pure gentleman, 100%.
Wow.
Yeah.
I never even noticed that. That's interesting.
Brandon, can you see my screen?
I can. Let me share it with the audience so they can see what you're doing.
Okay, so this is the model, the flat Earth refraction model for I'll zoom in a little bit, but this is the graph of how I graph it. So I'm not trying to do a whole presentation, but here, so the elevation of Polaris is approximately 3,655 miles, and the sun elevation approximately 30.
Oh, what happened? Oh, Discord just completely crashed for no reason whatsoever. Oh my gosh. What is going on around here? Hold on, folks. At least the stream didn't crash, but Discord is doing some wacky stuff. There's some kind of JavaScript error, of course. Let me restart it and we'll get back in there. Unfortunately, I'm going to have Brian start his presentation over again. But that was weird. Oh man, it is really screwed up right now. Trying to fix it. And it is just completely wacky. Yeah, in case anybody's interested, I'll drag this over. You can see what's going on. Oh, won't even let me drag it, of course. Let me quit this again and see if I can come up with a way to fix this real quick. It doesn't disrupt the show too much. This is really frustrating lately. I gotta admit that. I'm sure it's frustrating for you guys too. Sit here and have to listen to me deal with these damn technical issues constantly. What the heck is wrong? Okay, I'm going to restart Discord or OBS as well. So it might blink out for a minute, but I'll be right back. Okay, sorry. Okay, I should be back. You should be able to hear me. And now if I could just get Discord to work, we can continue. Something was puking on Discord there. And it is still happening. So this is not a good sign. Let me think what else I can do to try to get this going. And I wish there was some way I could entertain you and do it at the same time. Sadly, I'm not that talented. Let me see what I can fix here. Oh boy. Sorry, guys. Okay, I'm going to quit OBS one more time. I'll be back. Okay, hopefully you can hear me again. I think that possibly it's working. No? Wow, check this out. What this is doing here. I know this is fascinating, right? So here it is. Can you guys hear me in the Discord? Probably, huh? I can't hear anything, so apologize. I'm gonna put myself on mute. You guys continue talking. Brian, you'll have to start over. Some kind of Discord issue. Okay, so as soon as I show you guys, it's working. That's well, that's good news, and pisses me off too. So let me see what I can do about getting myself some sound here so I can at least hear, and then we can continue the damn show. Okay, that's there. Fascinating, right? Let's see here. This is all set up, and everything seems to be correct, but there is no sound whatsoever. Wow. Okay. Let me try to reconnect. Sorry. Jesus.
Yo.
I hope it's all good. At least you guys can, there, I can hear them.
Yo, anybody hear me?
Yeah, big time.
Discord is fucking up.
What's going on, guys? Holy shit.
Hey, well, Brandon, Discord is kicking us off Discord, bro.
You guys banned me from the room or something.
Did you guys get kicked out too? And were you having problems with Discord?
Yeah. I was kicked out 3 times.
Okay, that's interesting.
Brian Leakey did it because he shared his screen.
That wouldn't surprise me. Yeah, whatever infected his mic infected Discord.
Yeah, Leakey just fucking put Skynet on the Discord or some shit.
Well, it's good to know it was a Discord issue and not a problem with my computer. If everybody had the issue. I was scrambling over here trying to fix it and talk at the
No,
same
Discord's
time.
been fucking up. Discord's been fucking up for a lot of people today, not just this server.
It was like restarting and flashing and restarting for me. Was it doing that for you guys?
I don't know. I'm on a cell phone. Jem
you're
was
on a cell
having
phone.
trouble with it earlier today.
Yeah. What it was doing for me was it was just kicking me out.
I hope
Yeah,
it
my
was
Discord would
Discord
just
and we don't
close.
have somebody in here kicking everybody out of the freaking thing again. I don't think so.
No, it was Discord because my shit was just closing out completely. So somebody couldn't have done that.
Okay. All right. Well, we're back. Brian, are you there? No, he just dropped out. Maybe he's having the same problem now. I had to restart it and everything. Well, while we're waiting for him to come back, I did find his what is it called? His debate. I haven't watched it. I should watch it. I wonder if he has any timestamps we could take a look at. Because that'd be pretty cool. But here's the link. I'll put it in YouTube. You guys can save that and watch it later. Or if the stream crashes, there's the link. Brian, you back? No. He's really having problems. Well, while we're waiting for him, I came across a story today that is going to shock you guys. You're not going to believe what is happening. It is just...
The Earth is very flat.
Let me share my screen. Hopefully that doesn't crash everything. We'll see. Can you see my screen now? The headline says, Congressional Watchdog skeptical of NASA's plan to return astronauts to the moon by 2024. Ta-da. You guys hear me?
What's that mean? Yeah, no,
All they're
what's that?
missing is the lander, their gateway thing, and the fact that they've never tested out the rocket that's supposed to go there. That's all the only parts they're missing.
Just those three small things, huh? Yeah. It says the Government Accountability Office says it's becoming increasingly unlikely that a crewed lunar landing will be possible in just 3.5 years, citing technical risks and ongoing management issues at NASA. It's interesting, huh? Management issues? Wonder what the hell that means. Then they got a neat little fake picture on the moon. I don't know if this is from one of their promotional videos or what for Artemis. But I was reading this earlier, and they're already like starting the finger pointing between the Biden administration and the Trump administration. Let me read this. NASA was originally told to plan for a crewed landing in 2028. But in March 2019, the Trump administration pushed the Artemis 3 mission to 2024. Artemis 1 will involve the inaugural launch of NASA's Space Launch System, or SLS, while Artemis 2 will involve a crewed mission to the moon and back, but with no lunar landing. The Biden administration has expressed its support for Artemis 3, but no decision has been made about the 2024 timeline. The new report, which was released on May 26 to Congress, nonpartisan watchdog, could have a serious impact on how the president would like things to move forward.
Yeah, you never get a straight answer from these people. Did you ever see when Charles Bolden, I think was his name, he was the last head of NASA, was getting interviewed by either a congressman or a senator? And the senator's going, where, or the person questioning him, he's like, where are we going next? And they went over like trying to define what next meant for the next like 2 minutes. It was ridiculous. You ever see that one? He's like, what do you mean by next? It was hilarious.
Yeah, that is a good one. It's amazing. It's like, dude, these people piss me off so much sometimes when they're in front of Congress or, you know, when they're being asked a question by a reporter or something. It's like, you just want to run up to them and like squeeze them and go shake them and go, give me a fucking straight answer.
Yeah, you never get a straight answer.
Right? Just answer the fucking question like Rumpus the other day. Just say yes or no.
Well, they've been pretending for the past 50 years that they're interested in manned space travel outside of low Earth orbit, and they've spent billions and billions of dollars on it, but they never progress anywhere.
Right. Yeah.
Oh, we've de-evolved. When it comes to human... Go ahead, Brandon.
No, I was just laughing. Go for it.
We've de-evolved when it comes to human space travel. In the 60s and 70s, we had the ability to send men 250,000 miles from the surface of Earth. Nowadays, the farthest we can send someone is 250 miles or whatever they claim the ISS is. We have devolved when it comes to space travel. We're not making progress. We've went back a step. We've lost our ability to travel through space, bring men through space.
Can anybody else name
Now,
a technology or a human endeavor where we've actually gone backwards or lost an ability that we previously had?
when it's real shit, we usually don't. I mean, things might have happened in the past where, like ancient Roman times, but nowadays, when we make progress, it's there. It's out in the ether. It's on the internet. It's out there. You know what I mean? So,
Yeah.
when shit's real, we generally don't lose progress. We move forward and evolve and get better. Look at anything you're using it, cars, planes, your fucking dishwasher, vacuum cleaners, pick something.
They still fly B-52 bombers that were designed and built in the 1950s, and they still use them today.
That is pretty amazing. And if you really think about it, the last big technological advancement, like weapon system wise, that they've told us about is the stealth bombers. I can't think of anything else that was like blew my mind when I saw it. Like, wow,
Yeah, what was
they
that
have
from
that.
the 90s? Was that from the
83, I
90s,
think.
right?
83, I think they came out, if
80s?
I remember right. Yeah. That's when they finally
Holy
admitted to it, I
shit.
think. I could be wrong, but let me look it up. Because
I
I've
coulda
looked this
swore it
up a
was the
couple
90s,
times, and I
but-
guess that shit was developed in like the 60s and 70s. Yeah, when was it released to the public? But, you know, they act like they don't have this whole body of knowledge previously that they can draw from to help them design this equipment and plan the mission. And like, they don't know, they have so much to learn when 50 years ago, they were riding goddamn dune buggies around on the moon.
Yeah.
What,
It's obnoxious.
You know-
You don't. Go ahead.
You showed that video of them flying the Unity craft, the Virgin Galactic, the other day last week, and I mean that's a technology that the X-15 they did back in 1959. You know, suborbital, like a plane that's rocket powered, launched from another aircraft.
oh yeah, yeah. I mean, the story's getting thinner and thinner. Each year that goes by, each delay that they have, you know, each failed planned mission that they come across or that they tell us about, this story gets thinner and thinner and more difficult to believe. I mean, it's pretty much impossible for me to believe it at this point, but hopefully people are waking up to like, hey, well, how come we haven't been back to the moon in 50 years? How come no other country has decided that it's worthwhile to do the same thing? When has that ever happened? Tell me a human endeavor where one country has done it or one group of people has accomplished something and every other country that was even remotely capable of doing it didn't at least attempt to replicate the feat. I can't think of one. I'm sure they've all been to the South Pole, the North Pole, the top of freaking Mount Everest. Somebody brought up the Mariana Trench.
No.
That's probably the best example
Yeah.
that I can think of is the Mariana Trench. But there's still been people that have been more than one person that's gone down there, or more than one country that's gone down there, and people are planning additional missions down there.
Yeah, but going by Richard Byrd, his last trip, that Longines chronoscope show, that was after all of his trips down there. That was after the Operation High Jump and Deep Freeze and all that. So that was after they had sent all them planes and mapping out everything. And that's when he made that comment that there lies a region never seen with human eyes. In other words, never even seen. This is after him and all his other airplanes were everywhere. So apparently there's a big spot beyond Antarctica, is the way he made it sound, beyond the South Pole from Middle America. And so he had already been down there so many times it couldn't have been one of the spots that they referred to if no human has laid eyes on it. There had to be something else. And also, why would he say it's great for exploration if it was just nothing but ice? If it was just ice and all that, then he wouldn't have said, yeah, there's something for young explorers. But then instead of that, all of a sudden they never went back and they made a treaty with all these other countries for making all these crazy restrictions. So that's take the hint.
Anybody remember what year was the interview? Because in the interview himself, he says 23, 30, around 30 years ago. So if the interview was in the 1950s or 1930s, you have to put 30 or 20-something years before that.
The background noise is pretty bad, Matrix.
I got the year in my video speaking about it.
About the Richard Byrd thing, Brian?
Yeah, because
I believe it was like 47 or 48.
Yeah, it was right after the his last operation there, right after the big.
Yeah, that's an interesting story. I started to look more into the whole Richard Byrd thing. We've talked about that on here before. Who was it? I think Bob the Science Guy was trying to convince us that when he was talking about land the size of, I can't remember what he said, additional land the size of whatever, that he was talking about a piece of Antarctica.
Yeah, that's the same guy who said the Titanic sank due to Earth curve. So I wouldn't hold anything.
Due to refraction,
you just want to just basically hear Wikipedia.
I gotta dig that clip up because that was so fucking funny. We finally got him to rage quit.
Bro, when good shit happens, you should just write a little note. Have a little list going. The day the video, the day the video comes out, and then put a timestamp next to it for like around when it happened.
Yeah,
it'd be easier to go back and dig this shit up,
Yeah,
Bob said for there to be a flat Earth and the hot air coming off the warm air coming off the oceans and everything would have to be a jet stream, freaking of light, or the speed of sound, air coming up the speed of sound. And I argue that no, there'd have to be some kind of containment, or else we would get air coming off like the sound if there wasn't containment. And I tried to use the air expanding up high, getting cold, like air does as it expands, and so I think he's got it backwards in his head. But I used like birds, how they ride the warm ocean currents, like the albatross goes like years at a time without even hardly flapping their wings.
Yeah, you know who does the gas pressure without a container argument the best is Nathan Oakley. He will get the Glober to invoke a container, and Oakley will be like, "What container?" Because you know what I mean? Like it's the way he does it is great. I don't know if you guys ever heard him.
Yeah, I think
I've heard them, and they always come back with just go outside. So I tell them 100 times over, we can demonstrate pressure and gradient inside containment. So they would argue it. So finally I just went and did it. Just a simple little 20-minute setup. Showed them a gradient inside containment.
They didn't say much about that, did they, Brian? They really didn't respond too much, or did you get some responses off the show?
They don't like demonstration, man. That's one way to get rid of them pretty quick for a little while till you change the subject. Just demonstrate something. They hate demonstration.
Yeah, today. Earlier, I brought up Pebbles in the Ponds demonstration of the light disappearing in his warehouse, and they were acting like nobody ever seen it. I'm like, you guys. I'm not digging it up. Does he have a YouTube channel or anything?
I couldn't find it, man. But I remember Jim Panda come on here. He's like, what is the light gonna just disappear right in front of our eyes? Right after he's seen the light disappear in front of his eyes.
Oh, yeah. That was one of the great ones. Yeah. Oh man, I love that.
I told him, I'm like, ask Jem because he's seen it, and we can replicate light disappearing with no physical obstruction over a flat surface. So suck it.
Chris Berry is starting a rumor that Ranty has gone back to flat Earth. So I don't know if it's true, but I heard from someone, Chris Berry, that Ranty has gone back to flat Earth.
No. Really?
That's what I heard. I heard it from a reputable source.
Get the fuck out of here. He was repping it hard for a minute there. I thought he was gone for good. I don't know. We'll see.
I don't know. He doesn't. I don't think Chris knows. He says it's a rumor.
Well, no, maybe he watched my videos because I showed him saying why, why things appear lower and in the distance. I used him to answer his own question.
So
Yeah,
the
but
first
nobody
thing you
watches
think
it.
of, Brian, when someone says Ranty went back to flat Earth is, I must have changed his mind to come back.
Yeah, he must have saw my video. Bro, nobody watches your videos.
Yeah, no, there's some people who watch him, man. Just not.
I'm just fucking with you. Just fucking with
That was funny, Jeremy. That was absolutely hilarious.
you.
Yeah, same for you. Same goes for you.
Yeah,
Travis.
nobody watches your.
What's up, man?
Come on, guys, stop slacking. Go support our fellow flat earthers and watch their videos, please.
Yeah, we should spam some links.
I
in
would
here.
think, man, there's got to be a group out there. It's only about 50 people, but excited to see, what I come up with, dude. 'Cause I'm usually showing shit, and backing it up.
I check YouTube every morning to see if Brian Leakey's uploaded a new video. Just saying.
You too?
Well, thanks, man. Because, dude, a lot of people just talk. I like to show shit. So usually, 9 out of 10, what I show, I back it up with.
Yeah, you're one of my
Yeah.
favorite flat earthers, Brian, because you like to get out there and get your hands dirty, no matter how crazy the shit you're trying to do is. It's still fun.
In fairness, Brian,
man.
you do both. You talk and do stuff.
Yeah, you're right. But I know why the feed dropped earlier. Look, I went to show my model, so automatically the feed dumped real quick,
Yeah, you fucking broke Discord, bro.
I presented at the stage, man, without very much friction, man, because it's just basically a mathematical model. But let me say this one thing about it. I try to say if there's anybody out there in the military, who in artillery, they should at least try this model because what would there be to hurt? Because, okay, so if they're seeing a cruiser out in the distance 10 miles away, instead of not shooting at it, if it's your enemy, your model, we know that on your model it's not really there. There's a wall of water, so don't shoot at it. But just in case, try my model and make a shot at it anyway with the new weapons, the new lasers and the new like the rail gun. Just take a shot at it. You never know. It only wastes one round, right?
Bro, in the military, if you're using a line of sight weapon and they can see the thing, they shoot. They don't go, oh no, that's not really there. It's behind Earth curve. That's just they shoot.
Yeah. I've never heard anybody say that if you're sighting a target, you need to take refraction into account and aim above what you're actually seeing. Now you take other things into account like windage and gravity and all that shit, but I've never heard about taking refraction into account.
You tell that to Paige National
no.
and Bob, the science guy, Rumpus and Ruhip and all them. They swear by the Earth's curving away. So 10 miles away, there's 66 feet of drop. So the cruisers are not there. We can see them due to refraction. They've got models and everything that show us that this is why we see it. But no, you're not going to hit it with a straight projectile. Nowadays we have these means of straight projectiles like the laser weaponry and the ray gun and whatnot, which over long distances is curved kind of. It's what do you call it, parabolic, but short range, 10, 20 miles. They're not going to shoot at it, according to these guys, man. They live by that.
Get the fuck out of here. I want to see a citation for that one.
I want to
see a citation for they haven't. Go ahead, Brandon. My bad.
I was just going to ask Brian if his model has predictive powers. Can I use it to kind of almost have psychic abilities about the future? Like
Yeah.
if I
100%, man.
if I know there's a city 10 miles away, can I predict? Can I predict what I'm going to see when I take a picture? Does it have that kind of capability?
That's right. Yeah, all the way from half a mile to Mount Everest at 100 miles away, or an airplane 50 miles away. Yeah, and all you need is to get your if you're out on the water, just get your angle to Polaris, and that'll tell you your latitude. Yeah, to tell you when the sun is going to set, so you can pretty much get the roundabout time of day and all that. Yeah, just from this model. Yep, absolutely.
Oh, awesome. I'm in then. Yeah, because that's what science is all about, being able to predict stuff that you could usually calculate. So I'm in.
Or just a cyclical pattern that just happens over and over again, and you're like, all right, this, big hand's gonna land on the 12 in 5 minutes, guys. Watch out! I'm a fucking scientist.
Hey, you
Yeah,
know what? I'm gonna
anybody
predict the
ever been
sun
to
is
sun
gonna
count?
fucking come up tomorrow. Is that science?
Yeah,
Everybody
yeah,
seen
so-
sun? That's funny.
Yeah. Measurements are to calculations as predictions are to cycles.
Calculations. As
I
predictions.
concur. But if everybody's been to sun count, they know, like, you can take the sun, or you take the time of day and you move it, and the sun kind of loops around. So it's like a tight circle, like an ellipse, of where they project the sun to be, and that matches perfect. If you look, if you take it off in the distance, say 6,000 miles away, where the sun sets around 6,100 miles away. And you take in, if it moves a couple thousand miles to the right, that's only a few degrees. It's right within your field of view. So it pretty much mimics the loop of the sun too, the circular motion. And they ragged the 80 map, man. The globe, same way they ragged that, I could rag the globe on how it's off. And like, a lot of people don't like to use models, but I'll stand behind the what's called Antonio Subrat's model, similar to the 80 Gleason, just a little bit different. He made the modern correction to get the angles right over toward, like, South America and, like, Australia, Africa. But I stand behind that model 100%.
All right. We had talked about one day doing a challenge where you would bring like 3 pictures and Rumpus would bring 3 pictures, and you each would try to predict what, given the variables, what we would see in the pictures. And we never followed through on that. I think we should still do that.
Rumpus claims to have done this. Go ahead, Leggy.
Well, somebody
I was going to say,
pictures, and we were going to do it. So if anybody brings the pictures, I'll go head on with Rumpus.
I told you the picture to bring too, Brandon. Remember? I was like, get it. I sent it to you. I don't want to blow the idea, but you remember that picture I told you to get?
I don't remember.
Oh.
Is it in my DMs? I'll go find it.
I don't. It's a while. No, I'll just resend it to you. It's from a while ago.
Okay.
Mine works all the way from the Black Swan to Miles Davis to Blackpool Tower. Works on all of them, dude.
Cool. There we go. Anyway, so we got that NASA thing going on. They're obviously not going to put on their little show in 2024, so we'll have to wait until 2028 to see. And in the meantime, I mean, they're going to make quite a few advancements in CGI and stuff by then, so it might even look better this time.
Oh, and we've nitpicked through all the mistakes they made over the past 50 years. So they're gonna know, like, hey, we better make sure the wires aren't wire colored this time, or whatever the fuck.
Yeah, wire color. Yeah, exactly. That is one thing that I've thought about before is, what if they're just using us to find all the mistakes?
Yeah, no, definitely. Yeah, they're not, and then they're like, oh, well, we fucked up here, guys. Don't, look, everyone saw a rodent and a duck on Mars and mushrooms. We better not let that happen again.
Exactly.
That's
They've like
crazy, that story about the
crowdsourced
one
their own
scientist.
quality control.
That one scientist made a big stink about it, man, and serious, and I mean, I felt sorry for the guy. He's sitting there, he's probably about to lose his career, and he don't even realize it. He's saying, this is mushroom. Look, we have these on Earth, and this is mushroom. He showed them. They weren't there the day before, and then why is nobody into this, man? Why are my superiors just brushing it aside?
Yeah, that'd be the biggest thing ever. We got
right?
life on Mars. That'd be the biggest scientific news of the decade, at least, if not ever.
That's
life
why
on other planets,
man. Because there's plenty of people out there with similar questions. Just somewhere in their life, they've just had a question like, "What about this?" and "What about that?" But they just never really considered it. But they're subconscious, like that guy. He's always going to be wondering. But if they use all the money and resources necessary to demote us, like they said they were going to do in the Senate hearing, and then they don't have to worry about this message getting out to them people, because that's the type of people with evidence and with good stories, and it spread, keep spreading like wildfire. So they had to devote a lot of time, money, and resources into shutting us up. But I still enjoy voicing my opinions on air.
Nothing wrong with having an opinion. Even if I found out that I was completely wrong about everything, and I was convinced I was wrong, I wouldn't regret having my opinion and talking about it. Because how else are you supposed to communicate non-mainstream ideas? Everybody just kept their mouth shut and go, well, I can't be right. That's what they want. They want us to all sit back and go,
yeah, they think it's going to
I
be
can't be right. I'm not.
War, just because if everybody likes our opinions, or there's a bunch of people, they think that it just means society's just going to collapse just because we don't agree with the TV and shit and some of the shit. They act like everything.
I'll tell you what.
And they're scared.
If flat Earth came out as a fact, I think society actually might collapse. That could happen.
It would be ugly, but they're so good at spinning everything. They'd probably find a way to convince like 50% of the people. All they have to do is get like a Democrat to come out and say something like, yeah, we knew this already. Everyone knew this. We already knew this. And just like completely gaslight.
Would farmers stop making food?
Half the population.
Yeah, they're already doing that, man. Doing that. They say in all their things they put images, and they don't put photos. They're very careful. They said, to us, they've already released the classified documents that it's flat and stationary. They say that it's in our our dreams, dream big, and all that. They put images, and they said that even Buzz Aldrin come out to and that little girl had said, because we didn't go. That's how it happened, and he'd like to know why. Everybody, they've covered their asses, man.
Yeah, maybe they've already got the framework built for the day that they finally can't hide it anymore.
I could have.
Wait,
I could have swore
Jeremy.
that.
Well,
Go ahead, Brian.
One more thing, buddy. The people we argue against, they don't use their names, dude. None of them use their names, bro. You got Kosher, NASA Shill, Bob the Science Guy. If you're lucky, you get a first name, But you got. I could go on forever, man. None of them rarely. They don't use their names, so nobody's going to be responsible. It's just fictitious. It's fictitious characters, like as us, Brian Leak, Nathan Oakley, Tony Riley, Gary Wybangus. I mean, pardon me if I said your name you didn't want me to, but we're arguing against fictitious characters who will not be responsible for nothing.
Yeah,
they've covered.
I could have swore that SpaceX was going to take over, so NASA could bow out, and they would finally, if they had to admit, hey, we never went to the fucking moon, NASA would be no longer an entity to take the heat for it. You know what I mean? I thought that's what SpaceX's goal was, to knock NASA out and, relieve them of their, whatever it's called.
That's why George Numchuck. But I mean, he put in a couple other of them that have put their. They stand behind what they say, but very few of them. We're up against mostly fictitious characters.
You guys didn't think that was the plan? SpaceX would take over so NASA didn't have to take responsibility for any kind of fakery of the moon landings or anything? I don't know.
Oh, no, that makes sense. That makes total sense, because they could just kind of slough it on. And, well, it wasn't the government. It was this, the agency. We'll have to disband SpaceX.
Yeah.
They've never claimed to leave low Earth orbit. They admit all the way to the president where we don't go no further than low Earth orbit.
That's because low Earth orbit is now to the moon, bro.
Oh, yeah. He's right. Yep.
The atmosphere, I was grilling him about it in Gems. I'm like, when does the atmosphere stop? When does it stop? The gas goes forever, you guys say. So Earth's atmosphere is just forever?
Yep.
What up, Rob? We hear you.
Okay. I just want to say, wasn't Space Force supposed to take over for NASA? And did you know that the director of Space Force has already been relieved of his command?
That's funny.
I heard there was some. My wife was telling me about that. There was some kind of hubbub about.
I'd like to see what they got
Space
going on up
Force.
there, man. Like I said, if Picard went up there, in a pressurized capsule in the early 1900s, I mean,
I didn't hear the story though.
They probably got killer platforms up there, man. I mean, there ain't no telling what they got, but they give us a wall of bullshit. But I wonder what they really have up there, man.
Weapon systems, spy equipment, of course. That's what it is. All this shit is about, in my opinion. All this shit is about is cover for fucking putting weapon systems up into the, as high as they can get them. A lot
Or
of
spying.
Or tracking systems.
Or what systems, Rob?
Tracking systems.
Any kind of intelligence, absolutely. Information is the most powerful. Information is the most powerful thing you can have.
Yeah, just being that high and having a great vantage point on everything, because you lose sight of shit at about 10, 12 miles, I guess, man. You can't see them giant weather balloons, and so just being up above, a certain height, just with platforms, just floating platforms or whatever facilities, it wouldn't even be that great a technology needed to make something like that, and they'd have advantage. But if you see the amateur weather balloon footage, when you get up past that, it's just black. It's a void. Just like the people who probably have really been up there, like Neil Armstrong. I believe they were up there in whatever Earth orbit, however high, but they were in the black, where you don't see no stars, you don't see no planets, you don't see shit. It's just a black void. You see a glare of the sun, and a small little dot of a moon. Other than that, it's just a black void. Where's there to go?
I'm telling you, I still think a good idea is to send up a
balloon. Yeah, we should do that. It's not that much money.
Same camera, same settings, one shot of the moon from the ground, one shot when you're up high, and that might blow the lid off some shit.
Yeah, fuck it. I mean, we'd have to buy a couple cameras. Then we wouldn't mind getting lost, but we might get them back. Probably between us, we have half the shit we need, and then we just have to buy the balloon and shit. Probably $1,000.
I mean,
we could pull it together.
You could do something else too. Like you could do other things with it. That doesn't have to be the only thing,
Yeah.
So
look, in the
definitely.
debate, we did the math, or McToon did the math to the horizon. Well, he went to Walter Bisland's calculator, and he never really did. He didn't even know. He wouldn't make a guess because he wanted to see for himself how far the horizon would be at 120,000 feet, referring to Felix Baumgartner, and he did the math, and he didn't want to guess. So it wound up being 435 miles is the horizon, and at 6, and so that came out to 6 degrees. So 6 degrees from horizontal would be the horizon, which at that distance, that's a pretty good little drop there. But then when we watched the video, the same horizon is at just when he's floating off the ground, and just barely off the ground, stable before he takes off. It's the same horizon there as it is when he's stationary up at 127,000 feet. And they try to say, well, he's not still and all that, but no, he's very still when they stop. They're up above all the weather, and the horizon straight out. It may have a small dip angle, but it's most certainly not 6 degrees, and there most certainly is not miles and miles of curvature out in the distance straight ahead, for sure.
Again, when you talk about as you go up where you should see the horizon, you're again getting into the business of trying to divine how optics works at that distance. You're talking about thousands of miles. If you're up hundreds, you should be able to see thousands of miles theoretically. We don't know what that should fucking look like. We have no idea. We just make shit up. You just go with geometry and say, oh, well, based on geometry, this is what you should see. Or on a flat earth, you wouldn't see a horizon. It's just made up.
Listen, they're telling us light bends. We see the black swan. They're like, no, light bends. Then we see Ranty's photo, and they're like, no, we're doing straight lines to the stuff in the distance. They're trying to they're trying to do whatever the fuck they want. Really, you can't tell.
Yeah, they should have did Earth curve
lines, and then you draw straight lines.
Shouldn't they have figured in the Earth curve, then did the straight line? But no, one thing I know we don't see out the distance. We see the same horizon that we do at the ground. I can't tell you the distance is perfect and all that, one thing I can tell you for sure is that you could draw a line on that screen where the horizon is at close to the ground, okay? And when he's stable before he takes off, and then when he's stationary up before he jumps, when he gets above all the wind. And it's the same line. That's one thing I know.
Yeah. I was going to bring something up.
So the black swan breaks their geometry, but so does their own math. The 127,000 foot footage also kills their geometry, in my opinion.
They're just trying to have it both ways. When they're using it as a globe proof, they'll draw a straight line and say, "Look, that's where the object is at the end of this straight line." But when it comes to the observations where we're seeing too far, they're like, "No, you guys can't draw straight lines. Are you nuts?"
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? They're doing stuff they're telling us we can't do.
As soon as they said that footage of MLSB whatever took, as soon as they said, "Oh no, that is the light wrapping around the Earth, and it's presenting it to you in such a way that it looks flat, but it's actually a ball." Once they said that, they don't get to then decide when the light isn't bending. They can't have it both ways. You can't have your model allow you to see a flat apparent surface and see way too far and shit over a curve, and then in the next breath say, "Oh no, but when it looks like this, that's not happening." I don't think so.
Well, that's why they use my model.
Yeah.
If they use my model, see, that's one of the rare days that there's barely any refraction at all. Okay, so that's less than 1 degree. So you don't use any refraction in my model. From -1 to 0 degrees, there's no refraction. So every now and then we get a day like that where the light's not refracting, and pretty much you see what you get.
Brian, what are you talking about, man?
You haven't heard about his model, Travis?
I haven't. No.
Yeah. He has a predictive model for explaining pictures, and you can use math and everything, and just like that they have it with their refraction. He's got his own refractive model that has predictions and calculations.
I got it on screen right now, Travis.
So
Glad to see it back, Travis. I was the only one asking about you. Hey guys, where's Travis been? No one else cared at all.
Yeah, well, you know, I'm a lurker, man. I've been lurking and just hovering and whatever.
What he just said is a total lie. Every single show, we would spend at least 10 minutes talking about you. Wondering
I don't
where
believe
you're
it. I do not believe you. So whatever.
No, it's good to have you back, though. You've been off on some like life journey adventure or something.
I'm still trying to figure this shit out, bro.
Oh, that's cool. Me too. You have to tell us about it sometime.
Yeah. Well, that's gonna be like, hey, want to watch my vacation videos with me?
Oh, never mind then. I'll pass.
Yeah.
No, just kidding. I saw some of them. You went and visited that old fort. I watched that one.
Yeah, that was cool. You know what? I have another fort that I haven't put out yet. It's just crazy because the whole time we were traveling across the country, it was just catch as catch can with having the ability to upload videos to YouTube. So I only uploaded one of the fort videos. But that same day, we went to another fort and did the same thing at that fort. And I haven't uploaded that video yet.
Oh, I built a fort. I built a fort in my living room with couch cushions last weekend.
It's not about you, Jeremy, right now. Okay, okay, Jeremy.
Did you take a video of it, Jeremy? No.
No, I got no proof.
What was that fort? Anyway, I can't remember what it was called that you visited.
You know what? I mean, I'd have to go back to the video itself because we were in New Orleans. And the two guys that I was traveling with, Derek and Adam, they were both the traveling gurus, right? They were the guys that were like plotting out I was just like the driver. I was like, whatever, just tell me where to go. And so Derek was looking up places for us to check out in New Orleans before we went around to Pontchartrain. And he found these two forts that we went and checked out, and they were completely shut down. but we could get inside the grounds. And so we totally had this,
That's fucking awesome.
It was great. It was so fun. It was just amazing. The only thing that would have made it better is if we would have had a drone to get a higher viewpoint from where we were at.
Yeah.
But so it was just so great. And you know what? What was funny was I was walking through, and I didn't start recording until we got closer to the fort. But I said as we were walking, I was like, man, this totally reminds me of True Detective. If you guys have seen True Detective at all.
Yeah, it's a good show.
And, the first season for True Detective. And when I published the video, somebody said something about True Detective. It was so funny that they made that connection too, because it totally looked like the same scenario. But I should probably do that. I should probably
Travis,
take some time out this. Yeah.
You don't know? They actually filmed those scenes at that location.
Oh, really? Shut up!
Because I looked it up when someone said that. I looked up the history of this place, and it says in Wikipedia that they filmed those in the last episode, those scenes in this place.
I just thought it was like reminiscent. I was like, man, this totally feels like I'm in True Detective. That's
you
wild.
were
Anyway. That's crazy.
That's so
anyway,
funny
it was just so fun, man, because we didn't have to scale any walls or anything. The fence went all the way down to the water line, except for about like maybe 5 or I don't know. I'd say maybe 10 feet. I'll say 10 feet. So the fence ended at 10 feet, and then you could walk around the fence. I'm like, guys, we should totally just walk into this place and check it out. So that's what we did, and I started filming once we got to the fort itself. But it was fun. Fun times.
I'm looking at an aerial photograph of this place. Wow, that is wild. It looks like a baseball diamond that's like half buried.
Yeah. That was the one thing. Yeah, it was a baseball diamond, right? Yep. The square in the compass right there, man.
Oh my
How was
gosh,
this just unguarded?
Yeah, there was nothing. It was just posted, no trespassing, blah blah blah.
Oh. Yeah.
Yeah, it's probably a really good place for kids to go to,
Yeah, well, that's the thing that was creepy about it, right? Because the whole thing was we're walking through this corridor. So the corridor, if you're looking above, I don't know what you're showing right now, if you're showing anything at all, but if it's a baseball diamond, so you've got the arc of the outfield, right? The arc of the outfield going from third base to first base or whatever. So we're walking through these tunnels, and I'm like, oh my god, like some junkie fuck could just jump out of nowhere and stab me to death, So there was always this tension of just this, documentary, The Ring kind of a thing where you're filming stuff live. And anything could happen. It was just kind of like tense, and at the same time, this isn't a big deal. There's nobody here.
It could have turned into the Blair Witch or something.
Right, exactly.
Those kind of places always kind of, creep me out. Like when I was a kid, my grandpa took me to go see these headstones from like the 1600s that he found in the woods. Who knows how, must have been some of the first settlers in the area or something. And I just get these feelings when I see stuff like this. I start thinking these people lived their whole lives and died. They were just as alive as me. Everything they know, everybody they know, it's all gone now. I don't know if anybody else thinks that's just kind of what I
but
think
their lives mattered. What they did in their lives mattered because it led us to the point we're at now. So.
Yeah. That's true.
Butterfly effect. Yeah, right.
Like this place, I mean, how many people worked here? Hundreds. They lived here, and now you're walking around it generations and generations later.
Yeah,
it's just an old ruin that no one's in.
Yeah, and if you watch the video that I put out, there's this. I go into this one spot where it looks like when you're on the outside, they have these openings that look like openings for someone to set up a post on defense, right, with a gun. But the comment that I made to Derek was, the radius for your gun. Okay, so what's weird about it is it would make sense if it was an open field. Like if it was an open field and you had the radius in this small opening where the small aperture that you're putting your muzzle through is so small that someone would have to be a sharpshooter to take you out, right? So then your field of view then is what? I don't know, what, 50 or 60 degrees, right? From right to left. But the problem was in the courtyard itself, the courtyard was so short that field of view then wouldn't make a difference. I'm like, why? So Derek was like, well, that's where they were, setting up their armory and their guns. I'm like, bro, this whole field here is so short. Your range to move back and forth wouldn't be that great. It wouldn't make a difference. So I don't know what the thing that I said in my video was. It looked like to me like it was just simply aeration. That it was just simply circulation for air because the place was so stifling. Even when we were there in March or April, it was a hot day. But once you got into that place, it was really cool inside. But when you looked inside, it looked like there were like maybe 4 or 5 levels. But the level that you would have to be at, you would have to be prostrate. You couldn't stand up. It just wouldn't allow you for that kind of movement. So for me, I didn't think it was a defense position, if that makes any sense at all.
It does, and I remember watching the video and hearing you say that, and I'm like, oh, yeah, they do kind of look like battlements. I could see that as an explanation.
It looks that way, sure. Yeah.
But at the same time, it's such a weird setup with all those tunnels going through the outside and then all those battlements looking out towards that wall with the tunnels through it. And so what was this thing for? Why did they build it in this particular way? You think maybe it was something different than what they say, or I
don't even know what they say. I haven't looked up any information on the fort itself, so I don't know.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I can't remember what they said, but it was like, actually, I've got it open still. The fort is adjacent to the Venetian Islands community. Yeah, that's not it. History. There we go. Chef Montour Pass is a water route from the Gulf of Mexico to Lake Pontchartrain and the lakeshore of New Orleans. The United States built the fort in 1822, just 7 years after British forces invaded New Orleans from the sea. So after the War of 1812. So yeah, maybe it was just to protect that part of the river or whatever. But
well, I mean, okay, so look, let me jump in real quick and say this again in defense of my argument that it's not a defense position. The only thing that you could put into those openings would be a rifle. And the distance that a rifle could accomplish any effect would be short range, ultimately. But as soon as you go past 50 or 60 feet, you're in the water.
Yeah.
So right. there's no range, in my opinion, to make a rifle defense even feasible. I don't know.
If you've never researched star forts or bastion forts, it's a deep, dark rabbit hole.
Yeah. Well, ultimately, it's not a star fort. That would be it's whatever. Is that a bastion fort? Is that what you said? Bastion fort?
Correct. There are literally thousands of them all over the world on every continent. Mostly they're just the ruins, but a lot of the old European cities are, basically the town centers are big giant star forts.
Well, what's a bastion fort? What's a characteristic of that?
That's kind of the same the modern name. They have the angles like star type angles, pentagons.
Okay. Because like Brandon said, this one was more of a baseball field. It looked like a baseball diamond.
Yeah, it's pretty small. I'll try to share my screen so you guys can at least see it because I'm playing the video for the audience so they can see what we're talking about. But it is very weird the way it's built. And these are supposed to be all the battlements, these holes in the side, and then there's that courtyard. It's not very far, but who knows what the hell they were doing? Maybe
Is
it
this
was
my footage?
a stupid design. Yeah,
Oh, okay.
yeah, this is your footage.
Yeah,
But,
that
I
was
thought
that
it was
was
a cool
so.
video, man.
Yeah, it was so fun, man. It was so fun.
That's cool. I'll put the link to the video in the chat one more time if people want to check it out. Some pretty good music in it too.
Yeah, yeah. I'll try to put up the next one. I should get that out just for kicks.
Yeah, that kind of stuff's cool. I love archaeology and stuff. And I have looked into the Starfort stuff a little bit. I used to watch John Levy. I haven't watched him that much anymore. And
Yeah, John Levi. Yeah, yeah.
John Levi.
What's
and all those
crazy in
guys.
here in this area here, underneath all of that ground cover is brick.
The floor is brick.
Yeah.
That's weird.
So, whatever happened over the years with dust and accumulation of dirt, it just gave ground cover for seeds to germinate.
Just covered up the whole damn thing with blowing dust, huh?
Yeah. Oh man, I wish I could go out on the road right now, dude. That was an amazing trip, man.
You were on the road for a while, huh?
Yeah, I was out from the middle of January till April.
Damn, man. Like 3 months?
Yeah.
Wow. So where else did you go?
Well, we just traveled across the country to California to where we hooked up with Daryl Davis and his cannabis farm. And then we worked for a couple of weeks there and made the money that we needed to get back across the country. So then we went down across the country south first until we passed through Texas to the northeast corner of New Mexico up through Colorado, and then to the Bonneville Salt Flats. Got some good footage there. And then when we headed back over across north. So we stayed a little bit north and went through Idaho and Wyoming.
Salt Flats footage. Oh, man, that's cool. Did you put any of that out? I didn't see it. If you did.
Yeah. It's like you don't keep up to date with plain Earth debate.
Well, I haven't. We haven't heard from you for so long. We thought your channel got deleted. You were in jail or something. There was rumors that you were in prison. All kinds of stuff.
Yeah. The rumors of my death are greatly exaggerated.
Well, that's cool. I'll have to check that out. Yeah, I'm looking on your channel right now.
Yeah, you know what? Got some really interesting footage with the divergent star trails. Stuff that I didn't know about. Really, with the Orion. Right here where you're looking right now, you got Orion going across the sky, and there is a complete divergence. So stop the play right there. So right there, you got those 3 points in the middle of the screen, right? 1, 2, 3, boom. You see that? No, down to the left.
Oh, these
right there.
3 right here. Yeah.
Those are the belt. That's the belt of Orion. Okay. Now, if you then drop down below the 2 lines below that, in between, go a little bit lower. Right there. Right there, you've got a divergence. The top is going across and up, and the bottom below your cursor is going across and down.
Hallelujah, brother. I've been preaching that, man. I've been preaching that, and man, that's awesome, dude. That is so awesome. That's solid evidence, man. About the stars, they're not.
Got nothing to fucking do with
the equator, bro. They don't have this perfect model of the stars on a globe. They act like it's perfect with the different rotation. That shows separate. That shows separation. That shows 2 separate actual rotations.
Yeah, I don't know if I did it for 3 or 4 nights in a row or whatever, but
I see what you're saying. So these ones are kind of curling up, bent upwards, and these ones are bent downwards. Yeah.
Yep.
Right,
hope
that's
that-
actual divergence, measurable separation. That means the let's say the circle in the south, look at it over a long distance. So it just looks like a tiny bit of divergence. We'll keep going with that. Picture it over the size of the Earth. You're going to have separate rotations, okay? It's not just apparent like on a globe where you see it. That shows actual separate, different rotations, right?
Oh, you can see it right here. I mean, there's definitely divergence.
Yeah,
in
it
this
totally blew
picture.
me away when I watched it the next day when I was going to publish it. I'm like, what the heck? These totally look like they're going in separate directions. So then I filmed it the next night, and I was like, this is crazy. How could you even explain this?
How do you explain it? What
No,
do you
they tried to
attribute
say,
this
when I
to?
brought that up at Jose's, they tried to say it was the wide-angle lens and everything, and I was like, no, it doesn't just happen on a wide-angle lens, okay? It happened, period. It's minimal for what you could see in one scene, one field of view, but
Well,
it's there.
that's the other
No matter
thing
how
that I
small,
did
it's
was
there.
I changed the position and the field of view in my subsequent videos. So I didn't film in the same spot every single time, but I filmed the same observation.
So, I'm trying to picture how your camera's pointed. If you're in, where'd you say, New Mexico, when you took these?
No. This is in Junction City, California. So this is filming to the west.
Okay, so you're filming to the west, kind of looking over the Pacific Ocean, right?
Yeah.
And you're at what, like 30 degrees north, right there? 30, 35, something like that?
Whatever. I have no clue. I wouldn't be able to tell you. You'd
I'm
have to
just
look
trying
it
to
up.
wrap my head around why. Is it perspective? Is it?
It's supposed to be. You're not supposed to be able to see Orion in the summer or the late spring. Anyway, it's supposed to be a wintertime constellation, which I argue that too. I've showed footage of various places of it year round.
Huh. Oh, that's interesting. Well, that's cool. I'll have to go through your channel and watch some videos. I guess I've been slacking off.
That's all right. Yeah, no worries. I mean, it just put up whatever,
Yeah. No, that's cool.
So,
And did you learn anything at the Salt Flats?
what we tried to do was, if you go down, if you scroll, keep scrolling down, scroll. Right there, stop. So you've got a Bonnie Old Time.
Oh, right here.
Right there. And so you'll see a long distance observation to, I think it's I-80. I think that's the main highway that goes through there. If you go in right once you cross Nevada into Utah, the very first exit is where we took off. So we took off that exit and went to the Bonneville Salt Flats, which is a main thoroughfare it's a tourist trap. So you drive down, it's a cul-de-sac, you can't go any farther. Park your car, get out, take your pictures and whatever. So then I just got out and then aimed my camera back at the highway. So I didn't bother looking how far away the highway was from our exit, but right there, that green sign that you can see is the exit for where we were at. But what you can clearly see, and just going back to what you said earlier, Brandon, about, I can't remember how you were saying it, but you were talking about making claims about new science, right? My whole position is that if you want to push pause real quick.
Yeah.
Go back to where the arrows are. With both. Okay, my whole position in the research that I've done, in saying what I say. Now, if someone else has said this, fine, but I haven't seen it. So I'm going to make the statement that no one's making this claim. The observation that we're looking at from the vertical angle of the arrow to the horizontal image of the arrow is not a 90-degree image. in reality. Okay. Now, if you go into Andrew Thomas Young and you research his contributions with articles, he has an article on a Fata Morgana where he makes the statement that the image is a 90-degree vertically stretched image. So what that means is that when you see the land, which is represented by the vertical angle, the vertical angle or the vertical arrow goes all the way up across the land. Okay. Now that's a 2D image, but in reality, we're not looking up, we're looking across. We're looking into the distance.
Like an extended x-axis.
Oh, very good. Thank you. Okay. So why does that apparent land stop being visible at the point of where the arrow tip is? Why do we start seeing a mirage at that point? What does that mean? Right? What does that mean? So my position is that from the tip of the arrow all the way up to the Fletchers, right? The arrow, the Fletch, the what's the word I'm looking for? What do they put on the ends of arrows to make them fly straight? The they
Feathers?
put, the feathers. Yeah, thanks. They put the feathers there, the fletches, right? Those are Fletchers, right? So all the way from that point to that point, that's not a 90-degree vertical angle. That's along the x-axis. So the vertical arrow that you're looking at appears in this image that we're looking at vertical. It's not. It's along the x-axis. It's distance. Once you get to that mirage, that doesn't stop happening. You're still looking across distance. Okay? Now, I've not seen anyone address this. No one addresses this. They simply think that you're looking straight up. And
I think that's a
to
really good point. Oh, go ahead. I thought you were finished, but
well, no, that's I was just going to say that. To me, that's a really good point.
Yeah, a couple things struck me about what you said is answering the question, why can't you see the ground past the point where the mirage ends? And
Correct.
What is it and why do we see this, what appears to be a vertical doubling of the object in the distance, which in reality we know has to be, oh, Brian, your mic.
Sorry, I was going to say they need that for their ray tracing, but I'll mute if I'm echoing.
This is actually spread out over whatever distance that is from the point where this mirage starts down here to the point where it starts doubling, whatever that could be miles. We've seen it where it's miles.
Yeah, exactly. That could be 3 to 5 miles, whatever, because it wasn't that great of a distance. We weren't that far off the beaten path, so to speak. So, right, exactly. And this is no different than what we're talking about when we're looking over aquatic distance as well. When I talk about putting a boat right out here on the horizon, let's get a boat out there. Okay, let's send somebody out there on a truck and stop right when we see the land stop, mark that. And if we can mark that, then we can note how far away the highway is. And then you will know how much distance is obscured by that mirage.
Also, one thing real quick, Travis. You need to make some platforms out there with the boat. Do some pontoons with a little bit of gap in between the surface and the platform.
Bro, I'm ready to do this shit. All we got to do is fund the time.
I can't believe more people ain't.
I can't believe it either. Absolutely.
Do you still have your? Do you still have the GoFundMe up?
Yep, still up.
Post it, man. Post it.
If we want to do this over land, if we want to do this over water, whatever, it might be more feasible over land. But if you're looking at this image that we're looking at right now, if I went out, if I drove to the salt flats from right now, got there in 5 days or whatever, how long it takes, and I took this same image, it would not look the same. Right. The horizon would not be in the same place. Okay?
Sure,
yeah. That water in actuality, let me just jump in real quick. That water in actuality is dropping. So if you were to do trig on something, I don't know. Never mind.
Well, I mean, no, that's like, look, if you go, where's your cursor, Brandon?
Well, Jeremy, that's the point I've been making for a long time too. If you see something directly in front of you and you're talking about the ground, and you were to do a trig on that, it should never occupy that visual space because it's at 0 degrees. It could never geometrically be at that position. That's how we know that what we see is impacted optically and distorted. But anyway, go ahead, Travis. What were you saying?
The first thing. Oh, go ahead.
No, go ahead, Brent or Jeremy. Go ahead.
I was going to say the first thing when you go out to the beach or a shoreline or something, the first thing you see is an illusion. The water's not really going up; it's an illusion. It's either flat or going down. So it's the opposite of what everyone's claiming we're seeing. So first thing, illusion. Go ahead, Travis.
Yeah, if you go to the tip of the horizontal arrow, okay, so right there is where I would suggest that the land meets that telephone pole. Okay, but below your cursor is an image inverted, right? So what happens with people, you're going to have to think abstractly right now. Let's make that a sailboat sail. Go to the top of that image. Yep, right there. Now go to the bottom. Okay, right there. If that were a sailboat image, the ballers would say that is the 100% physical sail. No, my friends. No. Cut it in half, and you've got the hull of the sailboat in the middle of the image.
Well, I got to think anybody who said that was the full sail and didn't realize this was doubling was not thinking.
Listen, I've got trolls on my channel where I post these videos and point out where I've got shots on the Chesapeake Bay of a sail that's like that. You can't see the hull. All you can see is the sail. The only thing they can do is say the reason why we can't see the hull is because it's below the curvature.
Oh yeah. Well, and you said that this starts right here. Is this where the doubling starts?
Well, if you look at it, if you even look at what's along that horizontal line, it seems to me the more stable the image, right? The more thick, right? If you look at everything above that line, it's more dense. If you look at everything below it, it gets more wavy and.
Because what I was going to say is, I think that the doubling is higher up on the image than the ground. There's a portion of the actual object that is concealed by the mirage.
Sure.
So the mirage kind of starts at, whatever height. Like if you look at the cars, they're definitely cut off. You can't see the tires. So they're cut off like halfway up the car. And that's where the doubling starts, above the ground.
Well, yeah, at the end of this video, I follow an 18-wheeler all the way until it goes beyond the field of view. And you watch it go from a full observation where you can see the tires and the road, and then it just goes into the distance.
Hey, guys, go ahead and talk. I've got an audio issue. I'll be right back.
Okay.
I'd say everything's slightly magnified.
Well, but see, that's the whole thing, bro. Because what the fuck? How can you even scale this?
I'm a big fan of the magnification. Also.
Yeah. So am I.
I claim it's built right into perspective because they say, well, you know, everything always follows the rules of perspective, the math. And I'm like, well, it's got to be built right in then. I'm like, do you have any optical tests in a vacuum chamber or something? You know, I don't know.
Well, that I guess okay. So look, if you took the measurement of that sign that we're looking at right now, we could figure out what sign it was, right? Because it's the sign for the exit that you're coming to. Okay, so get the dimension of the sign, get the location of my camera, and then do your freaking Ruhif whatever shit you want on the scale that it should be, and then put it up against this. It's not going to be the same. I would take a kick to both shins with pointy boots that the mathematical scale that you think this sign should be is not going to match the image that we have right here.
Yeah, and sometimes we see, you know, I think the magnification is what's causing things to. It could be one of the factors that's causing things to appear to drop. So
Yeah.
if you count the magnification and however slight it may be, you know, that's where you're getting the that's where the variance, because sometimes it might be magnifying a little bit extra or a little bit less.
Yep.
So that's why we're seeing more or less, you know, optical drop or whatever you want to call it.
Sure. Well, I mean, if you think about, even if you're looking at what we see right here with the exit sign, and you know, take it for what it's worth, the arrow that goes horizontal might not be placed exactly where the ground level is. So drop it a couple of pixels, whatever fuck the value that is. Okay. So, you know, if you look at the image of the exit sign above my arrow, it's larger, and the distance between the arrow and the sign is very short. Below, you've got this elongated stretch of legs of the sign, and then the sign, right? So if you wanted to say, well, let's scale this, let's make this all scalable, you're gonna fuck everything up. Like the cars to the left of the arrow and the exit sign, none of that's going to match up.
Have you ever seen Red Pill Philosophies? I think it was Red Pill. He's got a picture of a hotel. Building,
I've seen
across
it.
a waterway. And
I've seen it.
The floors are compressing. As they get towards the horizon. You know, that could be a little bit of the magnification's off right there a little bit. Or, I mean, there's just so many optical effects happening that they can't tell us where the light, which direction the light's bending or how it all works, you know?
Yeah.
They just did it to match a globe model. This matches the globe, so it's got to be like this.
All they can do is work their equation, take the picture, and draw an equal sign between the two. That's all they can do.
Yeah. Absolutely.
So, okay, so pause the picture right there, Brandon.
I think he left. Is he here? Or?
No, he's got it going right now.
He said he'd be right back. He's having audio issues.
I saw him mess around with the cursor, so I don't know. Whatever.
We know you're there, Brandon.
Yeah, I mean, he's got the video going right now, so he started it up.
Yo, shouts out to everyone that was holding the FAG token. It's not too late, people, to jump in. You can limp in with a little bit of money if you want to get in a crypto game. We got a really good coin that's really cheap right now. So,
what coin is that, Jeremy?
Feed Every Gorilla, it's called.
And so Feed Every Gorilla is the new Doge.
Well, I don't know if it's going to be the new Doge, but they got some looks to be a very promising coin.
Okay.
It's like super cheap. It's like millionths of a penny or some shit. So good time to get in.
Brandon, where are you, man? You're showing this stuff and you're not talking.
He's got an audio issue.
Oh, okay. So, yeah, I mean, if you're looking at what we're seeing right now, so we've got this extra tractor trailer going into the distance, right? So we've got line of sight to this guy's tires on the road. No problem saying that, right? You can see the reflection below coming in and out depending on whatever the topography is. So now the reflection is completely gone. Like, how could you quantify that? Oh, there it is. There's the reflection there. There's 3 reflections there. Quantify that, please.
Yeah, tell me when that's going to happen.
Yeah.
With your math calculations.
In every gap in the water, every gap or land or water, whatever that is, you'll get a band.
Yeah. And now, right now, we've got no observation of the tires on the road. Absolutely gone. So this is why I say there's no such thing as obstruction from the bottom up in both arguments. This is, man. So now watch, the truck is now going to morph. You're not going to be able to see the fold line. You saw it just a little bit right there, a little bit right there. Once it gets far enough away, you're not going to see any crazy waviness in the fold line. You're just going to see this solid rectangular object going into the distance. There's no obstruction from the bottom up.
You know what I was thinking earlier would be a good observation to do? Go to like the Black Swan site, right? Get someone at the horizon. Go on a day where they say there's super heavy refraction and we can see far. Then have a guy on the beach on the ground, and then send a drone up. And as the drone gets higher and the refraction lessens, we should see less far as the drone goes up. Does that sound right or no?
Yeah, but see, the problem with that, Jeremy, is, and this is what I was going to say earlier, but didn't have an opportunity. Okay, so if you've got anyone who says that the swan footage is an example of looming, okay, show me your data. What will create this visual phenomenon? If you say, if they say that the elements, the variables are pressure, temperature, I don't even know what the fuck ever,
humidity,
right? Humidity, whatever, okay? You've then got to then have that on that day.
All through your optical corridor, no less. Not just
right?
the general readings in the area.
Right?
Off a weather balloon. You need to have it in your optical corridor.
Yeah. So don't tell me as an ad hoc knee-jerk reaction, this is looming. Okay.
Well, that's what they did with
I know.
With Ruhif's photo. They just, Ruhif will tell you, well, we got weather balloons. We know what the weather. No, you need to have it in your optical corridor, man. You can't just get a date off a weather balloon like that.
I know. Again, I think that what you just said and what I would say, right, is more scientific. If you and I were on the board, we'd go, no, fellas. No, this is a hung jury.
Yeah.
We're not all on board here. We got 10 that just want to go along with the narrative, and Jeremy and I are going, no. Sorry.
Absolutely.
Sorry.
Even then, though, even if they did have those readings, I feel like that still wouldn't prove that the objects are where they are.
Well,
you know what I mean?
But, okay, that's fair enough. But we haven't even got that data, bro.
I know.
Right?
I know.
Yep, that's true. And that is definitely a prerequisite to start making claims, even according to their own so-called world expert, Mr. Rumpus. But I wanted to ask you, Travis, I couldn't hear for a couple minutes, so hopefully nobody brought this up, but you haven't been on since...
Oh, we fucked the whole show up.
I fucked it up? Damn.
While you were gone, no, we fucked it all up.
It's a shit show, Brandon. Bring us back, bro.
Oh, well, so it's normal then. Okay, cool. What I was going to ask you was, we haven't talked to you since the whole Ranty debacle went down, I think. What are your thoughts on what went down there? Did you follow it?
Look. I'm just gonna say this. I'm not gonna name names. I left a promising relationship with a person who was into drama. Like, she was into like Facebook drama. And I just don't do that. I don't get into that. So that ended our relationship because I didn't act the way she thought I should when she was attacked. And I'm like, that's drama. I don't do that. Whatever. It's not even real. So the whole ranty stuff, I haven't even followed because I have absolutely zero interest in it. The fact that we have one photograph, one, I'm going to say it again. I'll say it again because it's crazy, you know. One photograph. Show me that same photograph, winter, spring, summer, and fall. And
All you
then
gotta
let's
do
talk.
is call.
Was that supposed to be your Christopher Walken voice?
Hey, listen, as long as you knew that it was Christopher Walken, it was close enough, right?
I did. I knew what it was. It
That
was
photo-
pretty good.
The
That
only
photo
reason
matches
I
my refraction
understood
model.
that, though, is because of a cartoon on YouTube where they have a guy named Sir Walken as a knight. And he talks like that.
My flat Earth refraction, my flat Earth model predicts that Blackpool photo year round.
No, we know your model's solid. It is a scientific predictive model, so everyone loves it.
Yeah, that's real science right there. I mean, it's empirical.
Yep, absolutely. If you can calculate it, if your model calculates what
Right?
you see, then that's
Yeah.
science.
There you go, bro. That's it, man. That's it.
We're in there.
Good stuff, Brian. Get that out there, man.
Write it up. Peer review.
I'll post a video of it tonight.
So Travis, you're gonna make me pry it out of you, but I mean, you were friends with this guy for a long time. I mean, you were on the show for months,
Ranty?
years, even back in the
Back to
days
Oakley
on Nathan's.
Are you talking about Ranty?
Yeah, are you surprised or are you just like, whatever?
Yeah, sure. I'm surprised, but in reality, it's no different than what Jose did. I mean, okay, so
No, it is. It's almost the exact same situation. You're absolutely. We talked about that at the time. It's exactly the same.
I can't imagine. Okay, listen. The only time, guys, listen to me. The only time you will ever hear me go back is if I have better shit than what I've got. There's no way.
You're telling me you want to go back if you saw a picture and there was a piece of a mountain missing? Come on, bro.
No. What I mean is that I would have to have better evidence than one photograph.
Well, yeah.
You know what I mean? There's no way. Okay, look, everyone right now, I will never commit suicide, and I will never go back to the globe. Okay? So if I ever do one of those two things, it wasn't me.
Gotcha. Yeah. Well, you know what I found interesting too? It wasn't just the fact that they went out and found one picture, or in Jose's case, took the picture himself, and then decided based on that picture and some calculations after talking to cats in both cases that they were now had enough evidence to go back to the globe. It played out exactly the same both cases.
I don't want to pump my own channel, but I'm going to pump my own channel. I've got, and I don't know what the title of the episodes are, but I've put up blink test videos, okay, where I've got a 20-mile observation of the Anacapa Islands, and I've got a PNG image of the Anacapa Island with okay, so you're going down. So keep scrolling down. I'll tell you. It's a bit further down, but I do a blink test. I'm like, you can't blink test this. If you try to blink test the land, it's skewed. If you try to blink test the lighthouse, it's skewed. If you try to blink test the apparent horizon, it's all going to be skewed. You cannot blink test an image over distance. You just
real
can't.
Quick. Hold on, real quick for the audience. Just explain what a blink test is. I mean, obviously we all know, but
Okay, well, the short version is you have a close range image of an object. Let's say a tower. Let's say you're a quarter mile away from that tower and you take a snapshot. So you have the whole tower in your field of view. And then you have a 7+ mile observation of that tower. And then you try to take your quarter mile image and match it up to the 7-mile image without taking into account the fact that the conditions of the medium are going to amplify or diminish the appearance of that image.
oh yeah, you're looking through a whole new optical corridor now at that point. Yeah.
You're trying to take a 1-to-1 correspondence and say that this equals this. You cannot do it.
I'll show you a blink
your
test.
angle changed.
I've tried.
Soon as you move your angle change, you have a whole new perspective on it. Yeah.
Yeah,
I'll show
and
you a
the
blink
angle
test,
change.
too. Do something like this.
And
See
just
this
real
where you
quick.
lay an image over another image and unblink it? In this
Yeah.
case, it's an image of a ping pong ball in the moon where the shadows aren't even
Right.
close to matching.
Oh,
But
that
this
was
is
a good one.
this is what they mean by blink
was a good
test
one.
here, like this, and you can tell
Yeah.
that the shadows don't match. But anyway, go ahead.
That was a fucking good one on the spot too. That was fucking good. That was good. Nice work. Remember that
Yeah.
picture of maybe Travis missed it. Travis, remember the picture of the ping pong ball where they say, "Oh, look,
Yeah.
it exactly matches the shadow on the moon or whatever, the phase of the moon."
Yeah.
Well, they showed one of Brandon. He overlaid it or did a fucking blink test or whatever, and they come to find out it doesn't match.
Yeah, it's
It
a little
didn't
bit
match
more,
at all.
right? Yeah.
was
We're
off.
seeing. Oh, yeah. Yep.
This is their scientific evidence that light rays are parallel, by the way.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Well,
Well, okay. Since you've segued into that, that was something that I was thinking about today. If I came on the show, I was going to make this suggestion, right? So, let's take a fish bowl or a fish tank, right? Fill it full of water, and there's no laser, and you've got the fish bowl full of water, fish bowl with undiluted water. Take a picture. And then you got a picture of diluted water and take a picture. Okay. Show me the difference between the light ray of the one and the light ray of the other. You can't do it. This is what I said to Rumpus the other day. Okay. And this is why we got to get away from these fucking trolls that have no standing in this discussion, that equate a laser beam with a ray of light. Show me in an image of a tank of water at 10 feet away. I'll take a picture. Click. Show me a ray of light in that. Go ahead. Show me where there's a fucking ray of light in that tank of water. You can't do it.
Yeah, even Andrew Thomas Young says those light rays are bullshit.
I understand that. And Rumpus, every single time, hand wave dismisses. I was listening to the show the other night when you went to town with him, and he completely ignored the reality of your point, right?
Yeah.
He qualifies Andrew Thomas Young where Andrew Thomas Young doesn't even qualify himself.
That's right.
Which is where I take Andrew Thomas Young to task on my channel, where I say over and over again, look, this is what he says with no qualification. Now, if I were a PhD in this field, I would have to qualify myself knowingly. Knowing what I know, I would have to say, in this instance, A. In this instance, B. In this instance, C, D, and E. He doesn't do that. And if you don't have the capability to understand what he's not saying, you don't belong in this conversation.
Well, it's
In
like
my opinion.
Rumpus's inability to just admit that there is no such thing as a light ray. If you froze time, you wouldn't be able to
Right.
find a light ray. And he'll say,
Right,
"No, it's
okay,
photons.
so,
They're
right,
just really
okay, so
close
let's just-
together."
Let's just
Listen,
stop
there's no
that
getting
for
through to these. Go ahead, Travis.
yeah. Let's just stop that for a moment. Okay, quantify a light ray. How many pixels are in a light ray?
No idea.
What? Well, he should know. How many?
Well, we'll never.
How
get
many?
these
How
guys
many?
to see.
How many fucking photons are in a light ray? So that when you take a picture of a tank of water, you can scale this dimension and say, this is how many light rays are in this. Like, what's a light ray? Is it 10 photons of light particles? Is it 25? Is it 23.7? What the fuck is the value?
It's
You guys better be
0.66.
careful. If you say his name one more time, he's going to show up.
Yeah, right.
Listen, I couldn't. We will never get these people to admit anything. I couldn't get Zanuck earlier to admit that hot air rises. So I mean, where can we go from here? There's not talk time's over. Like,
Imagine having to
There's
deny
no
that
talk-
hot air rises.
he just wouldn't admit to it. I mean, he wasn't denying it. He just wouldn't admit to it. And I mean, we're not going to get anywhere with these guys. Talk time's over. It's time to do something in reality. you
Well,
know?
that's what I'm saying in a sense as well. It's like we've got to stop giving these guys airtime. Let's fucking go to the universities. Listen, I have tried. I found a guy who was a PhD on the level of Andrew Thomas Young. I emailed him and simply asked him a question. I just simply asked him a question in the field. And he said, I've been retired for so long, I can't answer your question. I'm like, are you serious? You cannot answer my question as to whether or not, as Brandon has on this image right here, this image is vertical or horizontal. You don't know? You don't know. You're a fucking PhD and you can't answer my question. I didn't even come at this from Flat Earth. I just emailed them and said, hey, I got a question about...
Yeah, you reek of flat Earth, though.
You know? I cannot... Yeah, right. I cannot get... I cannot get any...
Nobody's asking these questions we're asking.
I
Anyone
know.
comes asking, they can just assume it's a flat earther because no one's
Yeah,
asking
right.
about this.
I
shit.
guess you're right. You know what? I guess you're right.
Yeah, and if you question
That's what I
anything in
meant,
science,
like-
if you go like, well, you know that thing that they're telling everybody, I have some questions about that. They'll just make some shit up, and then you go, it doesn't make any sense. You're a science denier.
Yeah.
You can't question science these days. It's Lord and Savior of
Yeah.
the planet.
Well, no one's
Cool.
even checking, so you're automatically suspect if you're even checking into it. Like, why are you even asking these questions? You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
Yeah.
You want to use it to give false authority to people.
So listen. This is very easy to me. Okay.
What up, Chris?
So the image that you've got on screen right now, Brandon, right, is a mirage. Let's not label it what kind of mirage. It's a mirage. Okay. Now, Andrew Thomas Young has a published article where he says that an inferior mirage, the limit of the inferior mirage. Okay, so go to the middle of that image that you've got right on screen, Brandon, where that X marks the spot is. The red
the middle. Oh,
images.
the red X.
Yeah.
Right here. Okay.
No, drop down. Yeah. Okay, yeah, right there. There's two fucking cursors. What's going on?
The small one's yours. The big one's mine.
I'm not doing anything, bro.
The small one's yours.
I see. You're playing the video. Just pause the video then. Right there.
Okay.
You didn't get the dick.
Oh, okay. I was like tripping out. Like, what are you talking about? I'm not touching my cursor. What's going on?
Yeah, it's okay. You get him next time.
Okay, so that X marks the spot, right? So if you drop down to the apparent horizon with your cursor.
Drop down to the what with my cursor?
The apparent horizon.
Oh, okay. Right
there. Okay. Now, listen, just for the sake of argument, everyone, if this is an inferior mirage, Andrew Thomas Young says the limit of the inferior mirage creates the horizon. So the reason why you cannot see more water beyond that line is because the mirage is obstructing the water. It's in the article. Now, the article has to be paid for. I have it because Andrew Thomas Young at the point in time sent it to me. Otherwise, you got to pay for it. So I can't give it to you. But my point is that the refractive phenomenon that we look at right here is creating the limit to the water. That's not where the water ends. But if you're looking, and now think about this, that this image is optically zoomed in to the fullest extent on the P900. Okay, it's the fullest extent of optical zoom.
Yeah, so this space you're looking at is really, really tiny if you were looking at it with your eyes, right?
Very, very tight. Very, very tight. If I were to go back to 35 millimeter, which is the field of view for the human eye, it would be so tiny. It would be like looking at a flea.
How many pixels? I only do things in pixels.
Whatever, bro.
Come on, man. We got to count these pixels.
But what you can see here is that I can show you that there are three images in this image. The top image, the middle image, and the bottom image. Okay? On the left of the screen is the consensus. On the right of the screen is my challenge to the consensus. And it's basically an inversion of the information. What if? How do you know? Okay? Because when you look at everything that Andrew Thomas Young cites, he's citing things from guys that don't have a P900. They're looking at shit with their naked eye. And then drawing conclusions scientifically. Like, I have not seen any data that shows that Dr. XYZ had Dr. ABC out in the distance taking measurements of the atmosphere in that particular location so that we can correlate the two. No one's doing this. They're looking at the shore, or they're on the shore of Lake Geneva, and they're looking out over Lake Geneva and looking at something and then talking about it. Okay? Challenge me. Call me out. Show me I'm wrong.
That's science, bro.
Show me I'm wrong, man.
That's how we do science
all
now.
the time.
There's right. That's exactly what I'm saying, Ed. Ed, fuck Ed. That's exactly what I'm saying. What I'm doing is no different than what they're basing their science on, bro.
Wrong.
Someone's standing on the shore, looking at something, and saying, this is what's happening.
Are you sure that's what's happening?
Yeah, you show me, Ed, where you can find any documentation of data where they have any information beyond the shoreline where the observation is being made. Go.
That's too easy. That's too easy.
Go.
I want to know how many fucking photons are in a pixel right now.
What?
Yeah, exactly.
Yep. You can't even answer that.
You don't even know what's going on. How many
Why is
photons
it
are in a
right?
pixel?
Right. Come on, guys. Come on, Jeremy. Lay off Ed. Come on. He knows.
Who knows what? If you're making it up as you go, yeah. I
Okay,
know.
listen.
That's
Listen to
your
what
game.
I'm saying, Ed. Listen to what I'm saying. I'm going to say it again for the cheap seats. When you look up the data on Andrew Thomas Young, when he quotes Minert, okay, when he quotes Minert, all Minert has is a fucking shoreline observation of something in the distance. He's looking at what he sees and he's describing what he thinks is happening. How is that any different than what I'm doing? Go.
That's science.
I don't care. You think he's the only one who measures things? No, not really.
Travis.
I don't think he even heard what you said. He wasn't even listening to you.
I know.
But you can tell by his answer.
That's a joke.
Because you're a layman. You're not a famous person.
No, he's just here to negate everything that we say. That's all.
Negate. Nice.
Right.
Right. I wanted to point one thing out about this picture. This refracted horizon. Actually, I don't even think this is. You're not seeing the real state of this water even up to this point. This looks like a ramp. I don't know if you guys can see this because I get the feeling when I say that it looks like the water or the land ramps up that people don't know what I'm talking about. Like, look at this. Like, imagine you are riding something like a boat out here and look at the coloring and just the visual cues you're getting from this portion of here. To me, it looks like a fucking ramp. Like you would go wee up into the air, like a half pipe out in the water. The water does not ramp up out in the ocean at a certain distance. That doesn't happen. So when you see that, you know that that is distorted, and you don't then claim, oh no, anything that I can't see that's further than this point right here, this apparent horizon, is hidden by Earth curve, because you already know that what you're seeing is all fucked up and distorted. So you don't make stupid claims like that.
Let me jump in
So
real
there's
quick.
no more Earth behind that thing, whatever it is.
Let me jump in real quick, Brandon, if you don't mind. Go to the first line on the very light image. If the limit of the inferior mirage at sea, right? Okay. So go beneath the R of inferior.
Okay.
Okay. Now from that point to the darkest point above it.
Right here.
Well, you know, when it starts to get dark, like when you lose that light blue or whatever it is, like right above, you know, just go ahead above, like right there. Okay, that is a physical distance. Okay, now if you were to go above that a bit. Okay, now from that point where you have your cursor, if you measure the same distance physically, it's not going to match up because you're going farther away into the distance. So you have to understand what happens with perspective as you look into the distance is compressing the distance. So the same distance from the lower part of the R, which is in the image that's reflecting the sky, and then you get to the dark image of the water. As you go farther into the distance, that shrinks in angular size. you can't keep making a one-to-one correspondence. You're not covering the same distance as you move farther and farther up the image.
Oh, for sure. But what I'm saying is you can find pictures where you can see that distance, and you can see the waves getting closer and closer and closer and closer until that the angular size is diminishing, and the visual space is compressing as you get closer to the apparent horizon, or further away from the camera. But it doesn't have that ramp look to it, like it's just ramping up like a wall.
Right. Yeah.
That is a special circumstance, and that's what I called, and it's not a real term. It is a term that I believe we made up, proximate looming. Where
That's me. Yeah.
Right, and you've called it the ether band, because we've had you've caught a lot of stuff where you can actually see this like flowing to the left or to the right. This band right here is actually like in the air. It's all fucked up. You just cannot rely on anything that you're seeing.
Yeah.
At that distance period, but especially in relation to what you perceive to be the horizon.
Right. So if you go to that if you go to that black line that goes across laterally, and then to the left of the image that you have, this where it says this is the erect image, right below that you've got this this wave, right? That wave right there. Okay. Now, in my opinion, that is physical water cresting above the angle of resolution. So where your cursor is right now, if you go to the right, you don't see that wave.
Right. So you think this is physical water? See, I don't think that at all. I mean, maybe you were there and you could see it better, but I've seen this where it'll like disappear. Like you come over here, you can see where there's holes in it, in this. It's like a layer of air that looks like water. That is part of the ether band, in my opinion.
Well, I can appreciate that, and unless we have something that we can, investigate to contrast. So look, if you go back down to that black line, go back to that black line.
Down here?
Yeah. Take your right there. Okay, now go over to the right where the sky meets that black line. Okay. Now there could be at times, let's say if you just raise your cursor up a little bit. Okay, let's say that's a dark image that looks like a wave, and it's only right there. Okay? That means that the wave is higher than the angle of resolution through the medium. Okay? So to the right and to the left of that cursor looks like it's sky. That's not sky. That is a mirrored image of the sky. And the only thing that is going to change that mirrored image is something that elevates itself into that field of view, which is to the left. So that image to the left, which is above the black line, is a crested wave.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Okay, so it's like popping out of the kind of coming in and out of the mirage, really, and that's why we see it sometimes, and sometimes we don't see it. Okay, that does make sense now, because it's getting above that limit of the mirage. Yeah. Okay.
Okay. Now listen, not to put you down at all, but that little click, that little light switch flick that just happened for you, where you're like, oh, I get what you're saying. I've been saying that for years. Okay? So whatever this takes for people to start understanding these little clicks, these little flips of the switch, we need to keep this going, because that's what this means.
Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, I mean, nothing you're seeing right here is what it appears like. You said this is the mirage that you're seeing. But yeah, in this case, if anything come above it, because that is the nearest limit to you of the mirage, then it would look like partial broken waves because it's only breaking in
So,
places
right.
above
So the only
the top of the mirage that that is close to you.
So the only thing where your cursor is, put your cursor back there where the sky is, in the middle of the image. Right. Yeah. Go down to the black line. Okay. So the only thing that's going to change that perspective is if something is closer or higher, which is perspective. Okay? So the image that you see to the left below the text that says this is the erect image, that little band of black, which is a wave, is either closer to me as a viewer or higher than I am. And there's no way for me to know which is which. The only thing that I care about is I see it. Why do I see it? Because it's cresting higher than whatever the fuck you want to qualify as a Rayleigh criterion or whatever. I don't even know.
Yeah, I still think I'm not convinced you're right in all cases, but you very well could be in this case. But I do think there's a combination of things that happen.
But I'm not afraid of that discussion, so that's perfectly fine with me.
Yeah, I mean, the bottom line is this kind of phenomena, which there seems to be quite a few people who want to deny that this stuff is even happening, that it is even needs to be considered or discussed, but at the same time want to use what they call a hard horizon as proof of Earth curvature. This just tells you that you can't rely on these long distance observations, that there's so many different phenomena that can happen that can block things in the background, and just change what you see, distort what you see. So,
well, and again, not to drag this out too much farther, but this is a fully zoomed in optical observation of the P900. Okay, if this was at a 35 millimeter with what your eye could see, you wouldn't even be able to see any of this detail. You wouldn't know what the fuck you were talking about.
If you're standing on the shore, let's say you don't have a telescope or anything back in the day, and you look out, it is going to look like a boat is going behind something. You just can't fucking actually see what is happening, and you don't know about the phenomena because you don't have to deal with it in everyday life. You don't have to deal with fake horizons 20 miles away or all of these different illusions that we see at these distances and the distortion.
Okay, so
it doesn't come into your everyday life.
Right. So let me go back just real quick. If you go back to, or if you go into the top image of the pentagram with the top image. Okay, now go to the base of the top pentagram.
Okay.
Right there. Okay, right there. Now, relatively speaking, that is the base of the platform. Physically, that's my position. Okay, that is my position. I will take a kick to both shins with pointy boots. That is my position. That the physical image is that high, which means that below that is all an inferior mirage. Okay? Now, The problem is I've zoomed in and the angle is very obtuse. But if you zoom out, the angle is going to be as big as your cursor. So you're not going to have that degree of acuity with these kinds of details. So you have to think about the fact you have to think about the fact that these guys that are writing papers back in the 1800s that Andrew Thomas Young bases his papers on, his articles on, they're making these observations with their fucking eyeballs. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, it is ridiculous.
Just making it to. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, I mean, it's so easy to point to these phenomena, and you've got it all cataloged on your channel for anybody that wants to go into really deep detail on this stuff and look at all the different phenomena, which I would suggest people do if they have questions about what's happening on the horizon and how come it looks like a steamer is hidden by what appears to be Earth curve or an apparent horizon 20 miles away. Is go look at all the different phenomena that Travis has captured and other people that have been out there in the field with the P900 and have hundreds, thousands probably, Travis, of hours of footage. And the different stuff you'll see will start to make sense to you on what the different things are different phenomena are possible at that distance. And I've come to the conclusion personally that you can't draw any conclusions about the shape.
Yeah,
of
but
the
every
Earth.
every time it matches the globe model, they'll say, "Aha! There's nothing happening here."
Well, okay, so let me jump in on that and say there's no aha, okay? Unless you get a physical measurement to the horizon, you have no aha. Because that's all the globers can do. They can work their maths on the one piece of paper, and they can have a photograph on the other piece of paper, and they can draw an equal sign between the two. That's all well and good. Sure. Okay, go ahead. Make that prediction.
What about the pixels, though?
Make the prediction that your equation equals my photograph. The only way you can verify is to get something out on the horizon and accurately, with GPS, determine the location of that horizon. And no one has done that. No one.
Yep.
I want to
Anyway.
know how many photons are in a Oh, go ahead.
Oh, no, go ahead.
Yeah, how many photons are in a pixel? I mean, we need to answer. If you guys can't quantify these rays of light, I mean, how are we supposed to believe you? You can't even quantify it.
That's a good question, Jeremy. Right?
You know?
That's reasonable. I think
you got to be able to quantify. So, yeah, I mean, they're always saying, I can't quantify it. You guys need to quantify this light ray bullshit, and let us know what your numbers are. I'll give it to my math guy, and we'll go over it.
Professor Phil's asking for a clear picture, which is one of their little canards that they go on. But Flat Cat just reminded me that what is his name? MLSB. I can never remember this shit.
MLSB 69.
MBLS what?
No. It's Mo Leverett. No. M. What the fuck? MBL. Is it MBLSB?
It's BML. His name is BML.
Oh yeah. It's Bo. It's Bo.
From Santa Barbara.
Yeah.
He's 169. All right.
BML.
At least someone
Thanks,
got
Ruth.
this shit together.
You're good
Thank
for
you.
something.
The fucking headphone died right as
Ruth, how many photons are in a pixel? My bad. Go ahead, Travis. Go ahead. You don't know, anyways.
No. It's BM. Bowel movement. LS.
That
B.
should bring it up, right? No.
No.
B?
BMLSB 69.
God dang, I gotta
There you
save
go.
this.
That's his initials with Santa Barbara and his birth year. Yeah.
Yeah, that's not gonna help me remember it at all. I got it saved now. So here's about the clearest picture of distant oil rigs that I've seen. Here we go. This is pretty clear for how far it is. There you go, Phil. There's clear. Yeah, there's some turbulence in the air, but what do you expect at? How many miles is this? Let's see.
6 and
here.
9.
Oh, the turbidity at that altitude is probably insane. In Cali, they're in Cali.
Oh yeah.
There's probably an insane amount of turbidity.
The heat. So I don't know if you think
Heat,
you're going to get a
haze,
crystal
turbidity,
clear.
everything.
Yeah, over the ocean. You think you're going to get a crystal clear picture, but this is pretty damn clear footage. And I might point out that in this clear footage, it's obviously flat. Just might point that out, that the horizon is way past where it should be, Phil. So if you want to talk about clear footage, I dare you to come up with clear footage where you can see further.
Now,
So just make it a bigger globe. Oh,
The whole
gosh,
thing for me, guys, right, is when you can't see this image on the next day, where your visibility is limited, that is due to refraction. Refraction limits your visibility. It limits your visibility. So what you're seeing right now is what you should expect to see. Not this isn't this.
Wally's trying to
should
trigger
probably
me.
be
He just said, "Wow, bendy cranes much, Brandon?" That's how low they'll sink. I mean, Wally, are you serious, Wally? Why don't you make a video about the bendy cranes and tell us how that impacts it, please? That's fucking ridiculous. You ever heard of air turbulence?
Means the whole thing is distorted.
Give me a fucking break. Never mind. We don't even need to acknowledge these idiots. One more idiot will acknowledge. Sean Hawkins says turbidity? Question mark? As if
atmospheric
turbidity.
Brandon.
He doesn't even
As
know
if
what water vapor
turbidity
is. Why are we talking?
Isn't a term
I'd like
that
to
people
address
use.
Please, Brandon.
How is turbidity
Atmospheric
something that you need to write turbidity? Question mark and act like
It's
that is something stupid.
It's called atmospheric turbidity. Look it up.
Let's do that. Let's look it up. Let's find the word.
This guy just figured out
atmospheric
water
turbidity.
vapor is a gas. Why are we even talking to this guy?
Nice one, Jeremy.
I just want to point out to
again?
people that how absolutely stupid some of the trolls are that come around here and try to act like we're stupid. Atmospheric turbidity. This is a dictionary, okay? Is that good enough for you, or do you need NASA to say the words? The reduction in the transparency of air resulting from the scattering of light by tiny particles suspended in the air, water droplets, ice crystallites, and dust and smoke particles, and from the absorption of light by water vapor. Now, you might not understand that last part, Sean, okay, about water vapor, but get one of your friends to tell you, okay, if you have any. Increasing atmospheric turbidity is accompanied by increasing scattering of solar rays, blah, blah, blah. Is that good enough for you? This is from an encyclopedia. Let me know if you need
Shouts out
more.
to Chemo. Chemo has taught us so many things. I mean, Chemo told us about atmospheric turbidity a long time ago. So shouts out to Chemo.
Long time ago.
He's really just yeah, we've been on this for months. I mean, you've never heard about atmospheric turbidity? Where you been at,
telling
man?
me you need Chemo for information?
He's brilliant. He's a brilliant man. He's a scholar and general.
Oh no, Ed, we do. We need Chemo for information, and we need Jeremy for information, and we need Travis for information.
Well,
we don't
hold
need
on.
you for information. We need everybody for information.
Yeah, you need all
if
the
That's how things work. We're not dumbasses who turn on NBC and whatever we hear, we go around repeating. We don't get our government handbook and look it up. Oh, what does this mean? Oh, here it is. It says so right here in my government issued book.
Oh, the government is
Ed,
The two trolls.
Ed, do you have your dribble bib on?
Quiet, Baldy. Go take another picture and
you need your dribble. You
Make
need
up
your
some
dribble.
stuff.
Earth is life. Shout out B-Ball. Thanks for reminding me. I was about to forget, even though I looked at it like twice and told myself to remember. I suck at super chats lately, guys. I'm sorry. Travis, still no explanation at. Oh, I better read it.
It's tremendous. You know, you're going to have a lot of atmospheric turbidity, distorting things, scattering the light, so to speak.
Well, not only that, but if you think about just looking at the image itself, that crane is above the horizon. So whatever effect is happening at that degree of angle is above another degree of angle. So there's something else going on in a different location. Okay? I mean, this stuff absolutely fascinates me. It's absolutely...
Of course, you just make shit up,
opinion.
though. I mean, you make up Aether Band, so why don't you make up some other shit, too?
Okay, look, listen. Everything was made up at the beginning, fucker.
Travis likes to call it the Ether
Everything,
Band.
listen, everything was made up at the beginning. The retro, listen, the retrograde motion of Mars was made up at the beginning.
Absurd.
Okay?
Mistakenly
Travis
observed.
likes to call it the Ether Band. There's a guy named Beard and Dragon. He likes to call it the thermal layer. We all have our fun little names for these areas that we see in the distance.
Yeah,
it doesn't change the fact that they're there and this is happening.
Doesn't change it. You have no explanation for them. No. You just make shit up as you go along.
there is an explanation. Yeah, there is an explanation.
A valid explanation. Travis.
What happened? Did another show that you guys were busy trolling that you got assigned to before this one end, and so y'all came over at the same time?
Right.
Is that what happened? What show were you guys assigned to before this?
That's cute.
It's a question. Are you gonna answer? You guys all came from somewhere at the same time.
Brigade.
We can't tell you that. We'd have to kill you if we told you. I'm sorry, it's top secret.
Secret glow meeting.
That's right, top secret. We'd have to kill you if we told you.
There is no way you have top secret clearance. But I'd like to change the subject, if you don't mind, Brandon. Just a little bit. We have a guy here.
Well, hold on. Before you do that, Rikia, 1 second. I got to point one thing out, which is on MLSB, whatever. You know who I'm talking about. It's footage.
EMLSB.
Thank you. I'm just going to outsource it whenever it comes up to somebody else. Just look at the fucking light reflection. You can see the light. Shout out Flat Cat, who pointed this out and reminded me. You can see the lights on the bottoms of the oil rigs stanchions. I think that's what they're called. Reflecting off of the water beneath them. And you're telling me that is a fucking mirage, you fucking dumbasses. Go ahead, Rikia.
The whole thing is distorted anyway.
Shut up. Shut the fuck up. I said go ahead, Rikia.
Distorted.
Yeah, this isn't going to take long because this low life that I'm fixing to bring up, he won't answer. So the subject can move back to the refraction and light because that's important too. But we happen to have a guy here on this channel, right, who just happened to come in and who hasn't ever given any topic or really made any points. He just puts down people. But this guy is amazing. One of the most amazing people I've ever even heard of. Has several degrees, including 2 masters. Went and became an Air Force pilot, refueled the SR-71. That in itself is incredible. But the list goes on. He has met most of the astronauts been in the space. No, I don't know who it is. But if you'd like to step in for him. But just calm yourself. Put yourself on mute for a second. I'm almost done. He's met most of the satellite astronauts that went into outer space, amongst other things that he's blurted out over the last year. He just happens to be here. Now, myself, I love Air Force, right? I love airplanes. I would love for a guy that smart to be able to explain to us how an SR-71 is refueled in midair, step by step, given all the details. He must know as the pilot of the refueling plane. This
Does it
guy
have
is
to be
amazing.
in
I
a
would like
unit
him to
of
take
chicken
10 or
nuggets?
20 minutes, maybe 5 minutes even, because it might get boring after a while. Just go step by step, detail by detail, airspeed, fuel flow, what flaps what determines what flap setting he has to use, things like that, coordinate systems, where they meet up, what altitude. I'd like for him to do that for about 5 minutes. Just dying for him to do it. I've
I don't
never met
mind.
anybody
This
who's done
amazing
that.
individual you're talking about can take the mic for as long as he wants. Tell us about his adventures.
If
Yeah,
he
I'd
so
love that.
chooses. Yeah.
Well, I wouldn't mind doing that, as a matter of fact. Thank you so much, Rakia. Just kidding. It's not me.
No, I said low life.
Oh. I missed that part. Never mind. That's not me. Not me.
That is you.
Damn it.
I guess whoever he is shy and doesn't want to speak up, but that's okay.
Well, it could be a
Yeah,
lot
he's
of flight
so
hours.
shy that his
low
first
life.
words out of his mouth usually is "you're stupid" or "you're a moron." That's how shy he is. His vocabulary is so high. I don't understand how someone gets 2 masters and several degrees and has a vocabulary like this guy. Obviously, there was no speeches given during his master's. I don't even know what you have to do to get a master's and be an Air Force pilot and a Pan Am pilot and all that. I would imagine you'd have to speak to someone at some point and show some integrity to reach those levels, to become an Air Force pilot and be trusted, trained with millions of dollars to handle just billion-dollar equipment. You'd have to have some level of integrity for them to trust you with that, right? I would think so. Well, what do you think, Peyton Ashishill? That's what I thought. I'm done with that guy.
Oh shit! I missed my opportunity again. God dang it! Hold on a minute. I got to play the crickets. Where's the crickets? Did I lose it? There it is.
You want me to repeat it, Brandon?
Yeah,
I got it written
repeat just
down.
the end. Repeat just the end. Yeah.
Okay, I'm done with this guy.
Boring.
Yeah, it is boring, isn't it? It's totally boring when Peyton Ashishill comes in here, adds nothing to the conversation, just starts calling people stupid and moronic when we've been having a perfectly good conversation about light and other subjects that are interesting, right?
All right, Ricky, we get it.
Yeah, what do you think, Ed?
Chicken nugget.
It's kind of like someone
It's fine,
going,
relax.
for no reason.
Yeah, just out of the blue, not making any kind of a point, not even making sense, really, just saying right and just negating everything other people say.
You stop the conversation. Rocky has stopped the conversation to attack a man's.
No, I stopped the troll from calling people morons, B-ball. Now, if you want to go out and do your observations and give your opinions about them, people will listen to you. But he doesn't do anything.
How are you doing on those free throws there, B-Brick?
You might have stopped him saying it, but you're still a moron.
A lot better than you.
How's Stingray coming
I don't think
with
so.
the
Not according to
modeling
the
of
video.
Stingray was supposed to model your photography there for a little while, and you're supposed to be using your horizontal tool, auto level, to measure Earth curve. Have you made a video about that yet, B-Ball?
Yeah, I've already covered that.
We would all like to see you measuring Earth curve.
No need to go back to that.
No need to measure Earth curve, huh?
Yeah, that's already been done.
Hit it, Ed. Here's your cue, Ed. Say right.
Especially when they respond to Rock, yeah.
Oh, there he is.
He's
Oh, maybe you missed it. Peyton NASA show. Everybody wants to hear your step-by-step refueling program.
How about you call out the other so-called veteran in this community who claims to be a sniper and a medic? How about you call him out?
I don't know anything about that.
Who's that? What are you talking about? Who's that? Go ahead, B-Brick.
Go ahead, B-Ball. Be a man. Step up.
Who is that?
Does anybody else know who I'm talking about? He's not here.
Just say it, bro.
No, I don't know.
Stop being a dick.
I really don't.
Okay, but it's percentage.
Oh, cool. Is he here to defend himself?
No.
Because paid
So how
NASA
about you call
shill is
whenever you
right here.
So whenever you see him, you can call him out too.
Oh yeah. Don't worry. If I find out he's lying and deceiving, I will.
No, you won't.
But
You're a
paid
liar.
NASA shill,
It's been documented.
is
It's been
right
documented.
here. Then you can call him out. Go ahead. Be a man.
Oh, it's been documented.
I'm calling out paid NASA shill. He can defend himself right now by doing something everybody agreed they wanted to hear. Just give the step-by-step program. He's probably looking it up right now. You could probably, if he starts saying it, go on Google or some type of website and read word for word if he mans up and tries to give it. I doubt he will.
I do have a super chat to read. I got to get this out. Earth is Life, $5. B-ball. Thank you very much. Travis, still no explanation as to why things are obstructed when there is no mirage.
Yeah, I have done that. Thanks.
I don't remember you actually explaining it.
Well, go back and watch my videos because they're very
Go
exciting.
back and watch your hours of videos. Yeah.
That's right. Listen.
That's
Bro,
right. There you
listen. How many hours? Hold on, media. Hold on, Matrix. Listen, how many hours do you have to sit through in college or grad school to get your degree, bro?
I mean,
you gotta sit through shit, man. I talk
right now.
I talk through stuff all the time. It's called proximate looming. Okay, listen very carefully. In a nutshell,
So where
please.
can I, okay, you mentioned proximate looming, right? So
Hello?
where
I'm
can
going
I
on
go
mute.
to
Thanks,
learn
Brandon.
about proximate looning?
Okay, listen very carefully. Okay, if you pay attention to what Brandon showed earlier with my footage, okay, all I'm doing is I'm going to tell you.
Shit up.
Okay, thanks, Ed. Thank you. All I'm doing.
Come on, man, hurry up.
Okay. It would be faster if you'd stop talking. Okay. All I'm doing is inverting the same observation. Okay. So,
what is that?
If you go to Andrew Thomas Young and look up sinking is proximate looming.
No, it isn't.
Except he puts the observation behind the horizon as being affected by the refraction. I'm saying that the horizon is lifted up in front of the observation. It's the same observation. It's a different explanation. Proximate looming is sinking. There you go.
So what atmospheric effects need to be present for proximate looming?
No. Go to my flat Earth refraction model. It matches all your observations, V-ball.
Yeah, Brian, we know light doesn't bend up. Come on, man.
It depends. Okay, listen. Okay. Stop. B-ball. What? Okay, hold on. Hold on. Shush. What you just said, B-ball, is absolutely scientifically disproved. Okay?
Scientifically retarded.
Okay, how does
light?
Because in certain models there is a denser medium above a less dense medium. It's called a temperature inversion. It's crazy. It's called
How often does that happen?
Yeah, it's called it's called an anomaly. That means it doesn't normally happen. Hold on.
Exactly.
It happens all the time.
So you guys are going to double team him now? You can't even let him get it out?
Well, hold on. He's been speaking more than anybody else.
I think B-ball was going back and forth with Travis. Rumpus, why don't you let him go back and forth? We'll stay out of it.
Yeah. Because Travis starts talking, he never.
Yeah. So a temperature, Okay, hold on. It's real quick. Just relax.
That's what she said.
Relax your muscles. It'll be quick. A temperature inversion reverses the density layer. The density layer that is normally below gets the density layer that is normally below gets inverted above.
Right.
So that the light is refracted up. Go.
I'll say it quickly, B-ball. When you have
go ahead.
hot air near the ground, it's
Why
less
are you
dense,
speaking
therefore-
for B-ball when I just got done saying, Rumpus, I just got done saying, let's let Travis and B-ball go
All I
back and
wanna
forth,
ask-
and you
Hold
got to
on,
jump in.
B-ball.
All I want to ask.
Why can't I
hold
talk
on,
to B-ball?
Hold on 1 second.
Because
Hold on, one second.
B-ball and Travis
Hold on
are
one
having
second,
a
Rumpus.
conversation.
All I want to ask Travis is that what you think? Is that what you think is going on in my
Travis
observation?
respond. Now B-ball has to either accept or rebut what Travis said.
All I want to ask is, Travis, is that what you think is happening in my observations? Is there a temperature inversion?
In Hawaii? Yeah.
Okay, hold on, Brian.
Dude,
Brian.
that's a straw
Brian.
man. That's
Matrix,
What the
Brian,
heck?
please.
Because
I just
what the
got on
heck?
Guys,
Rumpus.
let Travis and B-ball
not a
have
straw
5
man.
why
minutes.
you asking Travis
Guys.
about your observations when you already
Matrix,
asked
Matrix.
Everybody can speak
Matrix,
except
you
me,
go
is
on
that
mute
right?
real quick, please.
All right.
I'm
I
asking
don't.
Travis. I'm not
I don't
asking-
understand what's going on, and I thought it was my turn. Okay, look.
Go ahead, man.
Okay, listen, B-ball. I don't have enough information to tell you what's happening in your observation. But if you go to that video, I have made my claims. They're there, okay? In order for us to proceed, we have to get beyond what we think is happening to what we can prove is happening. So it doesn't really matter what I think or what you think. It doesn't matter what I think. Listen, I'm going to say it again. It doesn't matter what I think.
Excellent. You haven't proved anything either, so.
Okay. Now, why are you fucking
Okay.
jumping in? I'm just going to start muting people
hold
that are
on.
jumping in because
So you
can't keep
you
your mouth
said
shut.
you mentioned a temperature inversion, right? So is that what you think is going on?
Okay, listen very carefully. When I talk about a temperature inversion, I am utilizing the common mainstream narrative. On my channel, over and over again, I have called this out as bullshit. I don't believe in a temperature inversion. I have said over and over again, hold
You
on.
literally just said that's what you call proximate looming. What are you
Hold
talking
on.
about?
No. Okay, listen. Hold on. Okay, go ahead.
Go ahead, man. Go
No.
ahead.
Listen.
Finish your thing.
If I have made a statement that you have taken one way, that I am intended another, let's clear it out. Go ahead.
You said due to temperature inversion, this gets
Okay,
affected,
Rumpus,
and now
I'm
you're
not
saying
the
you
fuck
don't.
talking to you, Rumpus. Shut the
Well,
fuck
okay.
up.
Well, you've been speaking for the last 10 minutes.
Rumpus, you can go ahead because I got to get out of here. Go ahead. You can take over.
Thanks.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Run away there, B-ball. Run away, B-ball.
What Travis said?
Nobody's running away.
Hold on. Before Rumpus
I got shit I gotta do.
People, are you gonna concede or agree with what Travis
No, I'm
said?
not going to concede because he made no. I'm not going to concede because he made a claim. He made a claim saying that what's going on is a temperature inversion.
No,
right?
I did not.
And he explained,
No.
You explain what a temperature
Okay,
inversion
listen
was.
to me again.
That's exactly
Okay,
what I
listen.
claimed earlier.
And we know that a temperature inversion is
Hold
very
on.
rare.
Listen. Okay, listen very carefully before B-ball, before you leave. Listen again.
Travis, don't go on that goddamn monologue again. You're losing us.
B-Bill, I'd like to ask you a
Okay.
question before you go as well.
Okay.
Can I ask you a question, B-Ball,
Go ahead,
quickly?
let Travis-
We're talking about
yeah,
your
go ahead,
Hawaii
go ahead.
images with the wind, quite a lot of wind and things, with the buildings below the waves. Is that what we're talking about?
Yes.
Right. Well, for a start, you don't have inferior mirages and temperature inversion when you have lots of wind, as there is in his video. So you don't see inferior mirages. Inferior mirages are indicative of temperature inversions. That's how they
Bullshit.
come
You
about.
guys are just
So if
making
you
shit
don't
up.
have
This is
no,
the
this
line
a
you
fact.
have to give. You
This is a
have to
fact.
say
This is
to
a
say that
fact.
light only bends one certain way, and it
Right.
never
It
bends
does
the
not
other
bend
way
only one
except
way.
for
Well,
exceptions. You have
well,
no
we all
scientific
know
evidence
that-
that you're
I've
going to
never said that
provide
light bends
us.
one way.
You're just making
I have
shit
never
up because
said
it
that.
fits your model.
No,
That's
no,
it.
no. I'm relaying to you mainstream Andrew Young science, and if you don't like
Yeah,
it, you're
it's
just denying
bullshit.
science again.
It's bullshit.
It is not. When you have
Yes, it
inferior
is.
mirages,
Doesn't bend
when
towards
you
the
have
big
inferior
again?
mirages, you have the temperature inversion.
Aaron Morfeld, 99.99. Dude, thank you very much. Appreciate that. I hope you're listening. Oh, you're in Discord, of course. So you're not hearing this. I'll have to thank you personally. Thanks, man.
Makes the air expand. That means it's less dense, and that means it refracts less. Therefore, you do get light being refracted up. That's when you. So Beeble was not quite correct when he says that doesn't happen, but only in inferior mirages. But in Beeble's images, there are no inferior mirages, and there's no indication of sinking. So I'm afraid Travis is just making stuff up.
So light can bend up. Then. So hold on, let's not gloss over this. Light can bend up. Yes or no? Can light bend up?
There has to be a large.
Yes, it can. Yes, it can. So B-ball, you were incorrect. You heard that. You acknowledged that you were incorrect.
That's what happens in inferior mirages, and you've asked me this before.
Thank you.
I said yes.
It was a yes or no question. B-ball, can you acknowledge that you were incorrect, or do you dispute what Rumpus just said?
Of course, Rumpus, we're not talking to you.
That's
Rumpus,
not what's going on in my images.
Travis, you've spoken enough. Be quiet.
Because you've confused the whole thing. We wasn't talking about Bebo's photo. He introduced it.
I know, but hold on. This is a good point. B-ball, how do you know that that's not going on in your photo?
I gotta get out of here. Let me say something really quick.
Because there are no inferior.
I'm not asking you, Rumpus.
Hold on.
At the end,
the reason why
losing the debate with Travis.
Nobody's losing anything. Be quiet. Listen, the reason why I know that's not going on in my images because the water temperature and the air temperature on all those days are pretty much the same.
You take those temperatures at
Travis.
At the viewer, hang on. Where did you the temperature readings at?
It's posted. I can go to
where did you take them at? Right, where did you take them at the viewer?
That information.
Oh, so you're just going off NOAA, right?
So you think I should take a thermometer and put it in the water?
No, you're denying temperature inversion, stating NOAA's buoy temperature readings on that day and the air temperature readings, which you know isn't accurate.
I have a comment.
So how hot do you think the water is? How cold do you think?
You're the one denying temperature inversion.
I have a comment, real quick, please. Okay, listen. Okay,
when
look.
did we start talking about Bebo's photo?
Okay, just real quick, Matrix.
Travis raised it.
Okay, just real quick. I have looked far and wide for data on the Chesapeake Bay. When I look for data on the Chesapeake Bay, I get data from Delaware. Delaware. Not anywhere close to where I'm at. Okay? So I can look on my phone. I can drop a thermometer in the water. And it can conflict with data from fucking Delaware.
Yep.
Nowhere near me.
That's not what's going on.
The NOAA system has gotten so bad, we don't even use it. Yeah. We use independent sources for wave height, water temperature, wind speeds. We don't even use NOAA buoy information anymore because it's always wrong and it's always down. I think they're just making this shit up.
And you need measurements at different heights along the optical corridor.
To know the temperature inversion, correct.
That's correct. That's correct.
Thank you, Rumpus.
Okay, so
B-ball's wrong again.
85, but if you know the water temperature and the air just above it is the same temperature, B-ball's absolutely correct in those conditions.
He's looking over 15 miles. You telling me he's taking temperature readings over 15 miles? Come on, man.
So if it's 85
it doesn't vary along the optical corridor very much.
And 83 degrees in Barber's Point, you think that's going to make some sort of difference?
Any temperature variation.
Okay, hold on, just real quick. Stop.
Right.
Okay, hold on, stop.
Exactly.
B-ball, listen. How would you know that it doesn't? Right? Listen. We are. I'm going to speak for every. Hold on. Hold on. I'm going to speak for everybody here.
Like seriously.
Hold on. I would not be happy with that as a scientist. I wouldn't be happy with it. You've only got data from your location? Fuck you.
From a secondary source. From a secondary source, it's not dependable anymore. It's proven wrong. What was the average wave heights on your days? What was the swell heights? Did you have a lot of white cap and high wind going on? Maybe a lot of misting?
No, but I wasn't. I was above sea level, so that's irrelevant.
Exactly.
Above sea level is irrelevant because you don't think that mist is creating that disturbed air? Well above.
I was well above sea level. Yeah.
Above the swell, so it wasn't an issue.
He's well above the. How far above the swells are you?
I think it was. Well, go ahead. B-ball.
Yep.
Yeah, B-ball, go ahead.
Well, the first time I was about 8 feet, and the second time I was about 14 feet.
So 8 and 14 foot above the swell height?
Yes. Yeah.
Or
What was
above
the
sea
swell
level,
height?
B-ball?
What was the swell and
Above
wave
sea
height?
level. Mean
What
sea
was the
level.
Yeah,
swell
what
and
was
wave
this?
height
What
at
was the
York?
average swell? I think you're full of shit, man. I think you're making this
The
up.
average swell?
Yeah, he's
average
doing
swell.
average swell now.
You think? So what do you think? You think that
Was
you
it
think the
high
average
tide,
swell
low
is going
tide?
to
Was
be
it
Hey,
above
B-ball,
my
as
head?
opposed to
height?
what? Taking pictures beneath sea level? 8 feet's pretty fucking close to sea level.
Right on the water. If I was taking pictures like right on the water,
Like
then that
14
would
foot?
make a big difference. No,
14 foot over 15 miles
half
is
a
right
foot.
on the water,
Like
sir.
half of. If I was
Yeah,
taking
that would
pictures
be
at, like,
worse.
half of,
You probably wouldn't even
then
see the
yeah.
buildings then. Yeah, you probably wouldn't even
Exactly.
see the buildings then. Yeah, because the
then the
turbulent
waves
air
would probably
is going to block the buildings.
Yeah,
Because you're too close to the water.
Waves would.
Right,
Then the
waves,
waves would probably
wind,
be over my head.
particles,
Yeah.
turbulence,
But when I'm
turbidity.
above
Yeah.
when I'm above the water, it doesn't make a difference.
14 foot above
How
the
do
water
you
over
know?
15
How do
miles,
you know
you're
that?
full of shit.
How do you know that?
No,
B-ball?
you don't know. He doesn't know.
Because I've made these observations several times.
And you
Did
get
you
the
take
same
measurements
result,
any of the
so how
other
do you know
times?
anything else?
Did you
No,
take any temperature
I do
measurements
get
the
the
other
same
times
result.
along the optical corridor at different heights above
Yes,
sea level?
Along the optical
Yeah.
corridor?
Yeah.
No, I didn't.
Then you don't
What
know
about
what
at
the
night,
fuck you're
B-ball?
talking about.
But the temperature here in Hawaii is pretty consistent.
Yeah, what about
Okay,
at
wait,
night,
wait, wait,
B-ball?
wait! Stop! Okay, you just said the temperature here in Hawaii is pretty consistent. Where did you verify that the temperature at your location matched the temperature at the shoreline of your Prince fucking hotel?
How much difference do you think that's going
Okay, so that's a non-answer, Judge.
Or
Thank
not
you.
even,
No further
not even on the
questions.
shoreline, Travis.
Let's
What
see,
about
let's
in the
see.
middle?
If
What
it
about
was-
over
if
the
it was
ocean in the
about a
middle?
15
There's no
degree
temperature
difference,
difference between
it might
standing
make a
on
difference.
shore and being miles out in the middle of the ocean. There's no temperature difference in the air or a sea. It's all the same along
Not
that
along
whole
the
optical
it was a lot-
corridor,
It was across
B-ball.
water. It was across water, wasn't it?
It
Therefore,
was.
there
So if
wouldn't
you're
be
in the
much.
middle of that sight line, in the middle of the ocean between the two shores, you think that's the same temperature profile as standing on shore?
What you think that?
No,
Do you think it's like
the
a degree
line
No,
of
it's
sight
not.
was,
Thank you.
was along water. The line of sight was along water, and the fact that it's 100 meters out from the shore, 200
Why don't
meters,
you let
that's
him
not
It
going
was
to make any
across
difference.
water.
Yeah, it was across water, exactly.
So you could be
So
in the
therefore-
middle, above the water, in the middle of that sight line, right?
Say that again.
Do you think
If you rode a boat from where you took the picture to the hotel in the middle of the journey, would you be on the ocean?
Yeah, and it's
And do
across
you know what
water,
the temperature was
entire-
at that location? Do you think that's the same as on the shore?
Yes, along the optical
Really?
corridor when it's going across water. The line of sight was across water almost exclusively.
No, it's not. Not in
You
B-ball's
took the
case. He
picture
goes over
on
land,
shore.
too.
Yeah,
No,
that's
see,
not a way.
you're-
It's not
once
going to
again,
change just because
Rocky,
you're
you're
on shore.
completely-
Providing
How
the
far
line
off
of
the
sight
shore is the
is
hotel?
mostly across. If it's almost all across water, that will mean the optical corridor will have the same temperature. The fact
No,
that
it
he's just
doesn't.
standing
You
on
have
shore
told
is
me
irrelevant.
yourself you need to measure it at multiple places at
That's
multiple heights along the optical corridor. Vertically.
Yeah, well,
And
ideally, yes. You only need
That's
two,
the same
really.
problem.
But
That's the same
vertically is the
problem,
key
Rumpus.
thing.
The fact that you don't understand that means you're an utter moron.
I understand everything
and the
about this,
fact-
and you
Shouldn't
understand
be
nothing
answering
about
for
it.
B-ball's
I have
question.
modelled this with ray tracing that takes into account
Okay,
how the
there
light
are
ray
no
behaves
such thing as
from
rays.
from-
Rumpus.
Again, you just demonstrate you don't know what you're talking
Rumpus,
about.
rays of light don't exist, Rumpus.
They do.
Okay, how many Rumpus, how many photons are in a ray of light?
Depends
Oh,
on the
now we're
length
gonna
of the
parent
ray.
Jeremy. Oh, Jesus. Here we go.
If you have a very long ray, then you have lots of photons. If you only have a short ray, then you'll only have a few.
What's a long ray?
That is stupid.
Lots is
Oh
a
my God,
That is
scientific term, right?
absolutely stupid.
You are-
The length. Listen, the
Of course,
length.
oh my God.
Hold
It's
on.
like a train. Look, imagine
Hold
it's like a
on.
railway line.
Listen.
Imagine it's
Hold
like
on.
a
It's
railway
okay,
line. How
Rumpus.
many
It's okay.
How many trains can you fit on a
Slow
long railway
down.
line?
It's okay,
And how
Rumpus.
many can
Slow
you
down.
fit
Let
on
me
a
know when you're
short
ready.
railway line?
Let
That's
me know
the
when you're
analogy.
ready.
And if you don't understand that, you're a moron.
Let me know when you're ready. Are you
Right,
ready?
I'll explain it slowly.
Are you ready?
Can, across a certain length, you can have more photons if it's a longer length than you can if it's a shorter
I
length.
wasn't asking about the length. I wasn't
You said
asking.
how many photons are along a ray, and it depends on the length of the ray. You
I
moron.
wasn't asking about the length.
You
I was
said
asking.
how many photons are there in a ray?
I was asking. Okay, Rumpus. Okay, Rumpus. Okay,
you
listen.
asked me how many
Hold
photons
on.
were
It's
in a ray of light.
okay.
And
Rumpus.
that is dependent on the length of the ray.
Rumpus,
And you
it's-
didn't understand that
it's
was a
okay.
function.
Take a
I've
breath.
now had to explain it to you, and I'm beginning to
Okay,
think you're realizing how wrong
okay,
you were.
okay. I can.
Just
can
say
I,
you were wrong. Just admit you
hold
were
on.
wrong, and then we can move on.
Okay, can I?
Just say Travis was wrong. Rumpus, you're right as always.
Okay.
Let's move on from there.
No. Travis didn't clarify. May I?
Travis said how
may I
many
clarify?
photons are there in a ray of light, and I said it depends on how long it is. Which
May
is
I
exactly
clarify?
the right
Okay. May
answer.
I? Okay. May I clarify, Rumpus?
Okay, go ahead, clarify.
How many photons are in the width of a?
So the density that
ray of
depends
light.
on the intensity of the source.
Okay. Show me. Okay. Show me any photograph that you would like to dissect and show me a ray of light in each of those fucking images.
So you're telling me, hold on, you're telling me that if a light source is brighter, there's more photons in the width of a ray of light?
Correct.
What?
Get the fuck. Would you
The
just make that
intensity
shit up?
is a function of the
You just make
number
that up?
of photons.
Citation, please, Rumpus. Please cite your source.
My God, I mean, if you had done physics when you were 15 or 16,
Please
you would know this.
cite your source. We are done
Do
with
you
the
need
rhetoric.
Is this whole thing an analogy, Rumpus?
Basic years of education you've missed out on.
Is
And
this
I
like one of
would
those
be
mental
charging you for this.
constructs, or you know there's not a in reality a ray of light, right? You know that's not a
There
thing,
is,
right?
there is,
Yes, there
is.
is.
There is.
No, there's not. If you
Yes,
freeze,
there
so if
is.
I freeze time, I'm going to be able to pick up a ray of light or identify something,
If you could freeze
an
time, yes,
object
you would.
that is a ray of light.
Okay, hold on, real
Is
quick.
that right?
Can I have a moment with Professor Fullable? Professor,
What are you talking about?
Professor,
No,
are
I'm
you?
not
I'll
talking to
repeat
you.
it.
Okay.
If I
Call me by
freeze
my proper
time,
name.
if I freeze time and everything in it, would I be able to find something called a ray of light?
Well, a rail line is like
Really?
a rail line, as I said, with a load of photons on it. The railway line that the photons all follow, they follow the same rules, like a laser beam or whatever. Just a normal ray does the same thing.
Are they
the
connected?
The rail is effectively the ray, and all the photons that travel along that rail behave in the same way, even though they're not connected to one another. They all follow the same
They're not
laws of
connected.
physics.
They're going in the same
Correct.
direction,
But they
'cause
still
they're
follow
coming
the
from
laws.
same
Each
source.
one follows the same
It
laws
is
of
not
physics,
an
which mean
object,
they
though,
all
right?
go in the same direction.
That's all I'm
They
getting at.
all
It's
follow
not
the
an
laws of
object,
physics
right?
and go
There's
in
no
the same
object called a
direction.
ray of light, right?
There is. It's the collection of photons.
Okay, just go ahead.
That's like saying there's no such thing
Did
as a herd
anybody
of
else
buffalo.
notice that Rumpus
Do you accept
totally
there's a herd of
saved
buffalo as
D-Ball
a
from
thing?
answering
Right?
his own question?
Yeah. Good job, Mobius.
Ridiculous. As we discussed before, Thomas Young just tried to remove the concept of rays because he was trying to explain about refraction occurring when the light rays going horizontal along horizontal layers, and he was trying to explain why there is still refraction. And it was to do that he was having to sort of question the concept of rays because it was useful in that construction to do so. But there's geometric optics. If you look up geometric optics, they spend their entire time worrying about rays of light. That's what you do in geometric optics.
Geometric optics.
Geometric optics are all about rays of light.
Conceptual ideas.
Conceptual ideas.
Well, I mean, what is your? I mean, Travis keeps on asking, can he see a
Because you
ray
say
of light?
stuff like the ray of light is bent, and there is no such thing as a ray of light.
Yes, there is. There's a
Not,
path
it's not
followed by
an
all those
object
photons.
that gets bent. Like,
well, yeah, in which case, there's no such thing as a herd of buffalo. Then, is there?
it is a change
It's a
in
collective-
direction of the photons in your model, and you call it a ray as if it's one object.
Well, it's a collection of photons.
guys,
How many more times do I have to say it's a collection of photons? Like a collection, like a herd of buffalo.
Oh,
You talk about
unleash
herd of
the
buffalo
real
being one
Bob.
entity. It's a
Unleash the real
collective
Bob.
noun. It's a collection of photons. What is your problem with that?
Hold on,
That's
Bob.
so
Go ahead.
simple.
Go ahead, Bob.
He just said then a herd of buffalo is not a thing. That is correct. A herd of buffalo is a concept. It is not a physical thing.
Yes, it is. It's the collection.
No, it is
the
not.
sum of
It's
the total of
concept
buffaloes
of
makes.
multiple
There's
buffalo
a
being
collection of
together.
buffaloes
It
is
not
different to one
actually
buffalo.
a thing.
They are different things. A collection of buffaloes is not the same as one
collection of
buffalo.
buffalo
And a
is not
collection
real.
of
What the fuck?
photons
Are you guys
is
listening?
different to one
Great job, Bob.
It's
Listen.
called the fallacy. You
I
seem
hope
to be
people can
subject
The
to
hear
show's
the
over.
fallacy,
Great job.
fallacy
Great
of
job,
division
Bob.
and
Great job.
composition. The collection of the there are properties of the whole that are different from the properties of the components. It's
Like
very
mass,
simple.
like gas and matter and gas and mass. When you guys say everything has mass, and you say gas has mass, so therefore it's got to be affected by gravity. That's your fallacy of division right there.
No, that's not a fallacy division because each molecule has mass. Each molecule has mass.
Yeah, but you say all mass attracts other mass.
Yes, it does.
You got a fallacy of division going on with your gas and mass. Anyways,
just
I don't want to
gibberish.
detract from the. You're the
gas.
fallacious
You do
Bob.
understand that gas molecules
That was
aren't
the
very
cherry on
massive,
top,
are
Jeremy. That was the
they?
cherry
You are
on top.
aware,
brother.
Jeremy, are you not, that gas molecules are very small, and to have any effect
dare
due to
you
gravitational
No.
motion, you need big objects. You need big objects,
using
Jeremy,
a
not small ones.
fallacy.
I mean, how can you not understand?
dare
It's a
you.
scale
Big.
issue.
What's big
Bigger
mean,
things
Rumpus?
have
What's
massive
big mean?
attraction.
Can
Small
you
things have a
quantify
much
big,
smaller
Rumpus?
attraction. Why do you have a problem with that simple concept?
Rumpus, quantify big for us, please.
Well, it's a linear thing. You start off very small, and if you get to Earth, it becomes to the point where it has...
Wait. So you got small and you got big. Quantify that for us, please.
That's what she said.
Okay, 9 meters per second acceleration we have on Earth, whereas little gas molecules will accelerate themselves to one another so slowly that we wouldn't be able to measure it.
So slow. Is that a quantification? So slow is a quantification?
So you want me to give you the mathematical the acceleration between two gas molecules at a particular distance apart. Is that what you want me to do?
Yup.
They don't accelerate.
Right. What distance between two molecules would you
You're
like me to
making the
consider?
claim, fuckface.
Well, no, and I want to know because it varies depending on the molecule.
He's
and the
gonna
distance.
give you some fucking numbers, Travis. He's gonna give it to you.
Yeah. So just so, would you like me to consider, say, an oxygen molecule
Rumpus, listen very carefully. I want you to be more specific than small and big. Can you do that?
Okay, I will say something like the attraction between someone the size of a person is not really easily measurable, but
that's a no. Everybody in the audience, that's a no.
All right.
You've no idea about science. You've no way. You think everything's black and white. It's a gradual thing. It depends on what you decide.
Pseudoscience. Listen.
If you want to do the Cavendish experiment,
talk to him.
If you want to do the Cavendish experiment, you can say you can measure the force of a 50-kilogram ball.
Go ahead.
But that's
Tell
not
him
enough
about
to
the
cause,
pseudo
for instance,
science.
water or gas to be attracted to it. So, but
He's
if you
not
want to
gonna
talk about
understand
something
the
where
difference
it
between
causes a
science and
round
pseudoscience.
spherical body, it causes a spherical body, then you need to be talking about something several hundred miles size. How about that? Will that do you? Several hundred miles big will force something to be spherical. How about that as an interesting size?
What?
So an asteroid is bigger than a few hundred miles.
That was utter.
Okay, yeah. What's your observation? What's your observation, Rumpus? What do you observe?
With regard to what?
Your claim that you just fucking made.
Asteroid, anything above more than a few hundred miles in size will form a sphere.
When have you fucking observed anything more than a few hundred miles?
Well, I rely on authoritative sources. I rely on science. I know
Hearsay, Your Honor, objection, hearsay. Strike that from the record, thank you.
I rely on institutions.
No more further questions, Your Honor.
To study these things, and they give me examples of when it's happening and they observe it. Just because I haven't observed it doesn't mean to say it's not happening. You don't seem to understand there are authoritative sources. You're a science denier. You deny the body of science that gives you information.
We know you got an
That's
appeal
why
to
you're so
authority
ignorant.
fallacy going on. You
Well,
got
wait a
an
minute.
appeal to authority fallacy going on.
You're absolutely right, Jeremy. But
Rumpus,
just
say the
saying the
body
term
of
authoritative
Go get 'em,
sources
Matrix. Go get 'em.
is anti-science, Rumpus. Do you understand that? That saying the term authoritative sources is anti-science. I want you to go look up the Royal Society of London's initial motto. Go look it up.
That was question everything, I think, was their
Question
motto.
everything. Don't accept what authority says, and only take in facts that
until
are
it's been
proven by
verified.
experiment.
And science around the world with the peer review process means that things are not accepted into science until numerous bodies of institutions and people have checked. That's why Einstein didn't get his bloody Nobel Prize for 15 years, because the things he said were not checked, not verified. It took decades
Rumpus,
to do so.
there
Once
is no
they did that,
institution
yes,
named
you're right.
science. There is no institution named science. There is no authority
We
of
regard
science.
the bodies around
You
the
understand
world
that?
as science.
Okay,
Now,
hold on, real quick.
You
Let me
need
just
to
jump in, just
understand
real quick.
that the
Just real
collection
quick.
of scientific bodies around the world constitute, and the scientific literature we have is what is called
They
science.
are authoritative of nothing, and they are
doesn't
not
exist,
the institution named
They are
science.
verified,
That does not
validated,
exist.
checked.
That
and
is something
repeated,
you
and
guys
that's
made
science.
up.
It isn't a real thing, Rumpus.
It's not made up. It's checked, Brandon. That's what you don't understand. All these
You
things
mean
in the scientific
proven?
literature
You
are
keep
checked
using.
and
Hold on. You
validated.
keep using these words
They're
like
not
check,
just someone's
valid.
idea.
Rumpus,
They are
hold on. Fuck
tested
off.
and
You know what he's
validated by
doing?
Rumpus,
You
you
know
keep
what he's
using these
doing?
words like
Yeah, he's
check,
rumpusing,
validated.
Matrix.
You mean
He's
proven?
rumpusing,
You
bro.
don't understand what an authoritative
Rumpus.
source is that's been checked and validated.
This is how the
Hold
peer
on.
review. This is how the peer review works. This is how it works, right? For example, if I say to the flat earthers, is the earth flat? Everybody says yes, it's flat. That's it. That's peer review. That's what he's talking about.
No evidence.
It's a group of people. You're talking about.
No, it's
I'm
not
done,
just
Rumpus.
an opinion. That's
You're
exactly
talking
what
about
that
a
Royal
group of
Society
people
thing
that
was.
are funded.
Hey, Rumpus,
funded
what-
by
that
authority.
thing that Brandon
A
mentioned.
group
What
of people
percentage
that are
of
funded by
peer-reviewed
authority.
papers? Hey, what percentage
That
of
Royal
experiments
Society-
described in peer-reviewed papers can't be replicated or repeated?
That Royal Society phrase
A lot of
is the
them.
whole
A
point.
high
It's not just
percentage,
about
Brandon.
opinion.
Very
Before
high.
the Royal Society, it
Rumpus,
was just
Brandon,
opinion.
listen,
They're
Brandon,
basically
just
just
answer the
rubber stamping
question.
You
ideas
had
they
to
already
have
had
things
before.
checked and peer reviewed.
Rumpus.
So they had to
Rumpus.
do your own
Rumpus.
experiments and
They'll never
observations in the
stop.
real world.
I know,
His
right?
word
Shut
was
up
How
for
does
a
he
not
minute.
do
good
it?
enough.
I
That
know.
was the
How does he
principle
do
of the
it?
Royal Society.
I don't
You
know. We
had
can
to-
have a conversation with him in the middle. It's fine. Hey, what percentage of peer-reviewed papers, peer-reviewed and published papers, the experiments can't be replicated or repeated? Do you know?
High percentage. Very high. Very, very high.
Let me take a wild guess.
Rumpus, this was your chance to
90%
talk.
of them.
Rumpus, this was your fucking chance to talk. We couldn't shut you up a second ago.
I was muted, you moron. Whoever muted
Oh,
me.
my
Who
bad.
muted me?
I
Who
don't know. It
muted
wasn't me.
I don't know. Who would that be?
Oh, it's going to be Travis. There you go. See, that's his contribution.
Answer Brandon's question, or were you talking the whole way through it?
I've no idea what the percentage is, but the point is, but then it wouldn't be accepted into mainstream science.
Yes,
Someone
it
could
would.
publish a paper. Oh no, it wouldn't. If someone publishes
There
a paper,
is no such
and they
thing
say, "Hold on,"
as mainstream
if they publish
science.
can I finish a sentence?
It's just the
please, about
people
this?
you choose to listen
Let
to,
me just
Rumpus.
repeat. I'm not being allowed to make my point here. If someone publishes a paper in which they say that I've got this experimental or observational result, now that's published, and because they followed the relevant procedure to get it published in the thing, but it doesn't become the part of the body of science until other people have validated it.
There is no
Hence
body of
Einstein's
science.
situation. That
So once it's
you're basically a
validated-
science denier.
No.
This is why you deny science.
If by
You don't
science you mean this
understand the checks and
institution and
balances.
this authority that you keep referring to, yes, I deny that there is an authority of science. I deny that there's an
Well, there you are. That's the
institution of
problem.
science.
You don't
You're
understand
correct.
that science is
Because
checked
that
and
word is
verified
not
and
a
validated
noun.
by millions of people around the world. If someone
Rumpus,
comes
you
up with a
keep
theory,
using
That's not a
theory,
proper noun,
it does
Rumpus.
not become part of the body of science until other people have repeated it, checked it, verified it, and then perhaps 10 years afterwards, it'll become part of the mainstream.
So
But
when
you
you
just
say
don't get it
verified,
straight away.
We're talking about hold
So
on,
when
hold
you
on. You're
say
confused.
verified-
And one
Jeremy's
thing
been trying to
we're-
get in for a while, Matrix. Go ahead.
When you say checked and validated, you mean to say proven?
No, checked and validated is what I said, and that's what I meant.
If they didn't prove it, then what use is it?
Because that science is all provisional.
If they're not
We
even
can't-
proving
we can't
shit.
prove anything in science.
So, how
that's
can there be an
proving
authority
nothing,
if it's all
so-
provisional, Rumpus?
Because that's
Yeah.
how the reality works. We don't know. We're not
That's
in a
not reality.
brain in
That's a
vat.
construct
We
you
don't
made
know.
up to
We're
try
not
to
living in a
understand the
software
world.
model. So all we can say is that all the evidence that has been checked and validated and repeated and measured suggests something. And that's all we can say in science.
Pretty much nothing.
Well,
Is
then
it possible
you're a
that-
science denier.
is it possible
Your
that
computer,
neuroscience does?
your computer.
I already
and
explained to you
aeroplanes
that
are
I
based
am
on
a
that
Is it possible
science,
that there's
proper
a
noun
reason-
science
It works
denier.
pretty
Yes.
well.
God, he
The
doesn't.
point is, we know it's 99% likely to be true. We can't get that extra 1%. But your computers run on that basis. The whole technology you see around you is based on that basis.
My computer runs on applied science.
Pretty goddamn successful.
Based on a statistic? It's based on a statistic? It's based on a statistic?
On cause and effect relationship. People trying things, they didn't work. People trying something else. It's applied science. They actually built something.
Yeah, applied science.
Not theoretical.
It's like science.
No longer theoretical, Rumpus.
Science isn't theoretical.
Huh.
Who said it was theoretical? You're
Computers
making
are
that up
not
again.
science.
You're a science denier. You don't even understand the subject you're talking about. Quite why you think science is purely theoretical, I do not know.
I didn't say it was purely theoretical.
But you're confusing engineering.
I didn't say it was purely theoretical. I'm making a distinction.
You've just redefined what science is. You've just eliminated all of experimental
No,
science.
you guys are the one who redefined what
way.
science was.
What the hell are you on?
Now you're gaslighting me. It's a nice try.
No, you just you seem to think that science
you're
is purely
gaslighting.
theoretical.
You're gaslighting right now.
You said you implied that it's just theoretical.
No, I didn't.
Experimental physics, experimental science is all about dealing with the real world things that are happening.
The things that you talk about are theoretical.
Well, like computers
That's what
and
I imply.
chips and semiconductors that you use in your computer.
You are conflating that
based on
with
science.
You're conflating that with things like your railroad rails of photons and bendy light rays.
Experimental fact.
No, it's not. Show me. Show me a fucking light ray.
I mean, you're just making stuff up. You just got an opinion. You just wish.
Show us the light ray, Rumpus.
You just don't like the fact that we rely on
Show us, Rumpus. Show us the light ray. Go ahead. Go.
Geometric optics that make cameras work and used in all optical instruments. You're just going to deny it. Just incredible.
Rumpus. Go ahead and show us a light ray.
Science exactly, you fucko. Which part is the science in making the computer? Pinpoint exactly where is the science being done when the computer is being made. Please.
He's gone. He did his job.
Nothing to say. Nothing to say. Or did he?
Well, he might have, but I muted him because that was enough.
Science being conducted?
He might have said
exactly
something.
Is the science being conducted? Just unmute him. Because he keeps saying engineering and science, and I want him to explain it. When you're engineering, what part is the science and what part is the engineering?
All right, hold on, Matrix. Just to let you know, the host of the show has muted Rumpus. Okay.
Lilo?
Oh shit.
How are you today, Lilo?
He's good at disrupting shit, isn't he?
What are you doing today?
Who is that?
Who is that? That's funny.
Is somebody playing with their cat or something?
Yeah, we were real close to having Paid NASA Shield go through that refueling process when Rumpus came in. I think we tried to save him. So if Paid NASA Shield is still here, maybe he'd like to take 5 minutes and go through that.
All right, go for it, Rakia. Go get him.
No, he's not in here.
Oh yeah, he's not. I don't see him.
He probably went over to Gems to spew his bullshit over there.
You can't believe what they're saying over at Brandon's.
Oh.
Professor Phil, are you still there? My professor.
Professor Satellites in the Clouds, Phil.
Professor Phil.
He just popped in. Said his name 3 times.
Yeah, right. Here he comes. Wow.
Wait,
there's Nate Nasher right there.
Let's treat Professor Phil with some respect. He isn't Rumpus. So, Professor Phil, I did hear you speak up at one point during that whole debacle dumpster fire inside another dumpster fire there. What brings you in tonight?
You were the professor.
No.
The engineer. Where was the difference between engineering and the science, as Rumpus was implying?
Science is practiced in universities all over the world.
That's good. Yeah.
In schools, that as a matter of fact.
I agree with that. Yeah, that's cool.
I do hear what Rumpus was sort of trying to say. It is this mainstream like deception that there is a body of science and it's all verified and the peer review process is perfect. It's part of the deception of what's going on. So I mean, I understand what he was saying, but the problem is that there's so much corruption involved with it. I mean, if every scientist was using the scientific method accurately and there was no corruption, maybe it could be like that. Maybe we could have a body of solid information, but it's so far from that.
Well, let's ask the question: why can't it be like that?
You're misunderstanding
It's funny
about
because
what scientists is incredible.
Because people are liars. That's why.
Oh, Bob, you're so
Bob,
negative.
speak for
now.
yourself.
You're so
What
negative.
did you
Bob.
say, Phil? Let's give Phil a chance because he was talking. What did you say, Phil?
Okay, I'll only speak if absolutely nobody speaks over me.
Let me jump in real quick, Phil. One statement. Can the body of science
No, you're
be
roboting.
tested?
Yeah, you're real bad, Aaron.
Sorry, can you hear me now?
Sorry. No.
It's Ultron.
Do you want to hear me?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead, Phil.
Do not
Okay,
compare
good.
me
Let's
to
talk
Tony
about
Stark.
what science is first.
Okay. What science?
All right. So science is practiced all over the world in universities and schools all over the world, and basically it's the intention to seek knowledge about a particular subject.
Okay,
Now-
I like that. All right. Fine.
Okay. So
Nope, that's academia.
So what we do is we do experiments. So what we do is we do experiments to collect evidence. And then when we have enough evidence, we then formulate a conclusion about what that evidence represents. And the most important thing about it is we use that conclusion to make predictions.
Oh,
That's
God.
the important thing.
No, it's not.
Now, if more evidence turns up that changes that conclusion or gives it better precision, then we'll go along with it. Because in the end, the thing that we really want to know is how to make those predictions. That's what counts.
So you would say.
I was just gonna say.
Hold on, guys.
That was so much bullshit. I can't even
Hold on,
stand it.
guys.
There's
Hold
something
on.
wrong with what he just said.
Gio, go ahead. Let's let Gio talk to Phil. That's a good combo. Go ahead, Gio.
Well, I was actually going to make a joke, but I guess I could try to. I was going to say that I was born yesterday, but I already knew what he said. That was my joke.
Oh shit!
No, I mean, Phil, I hear what you're saying as a general idea, and that does happen in certain fields. Like we were talking about computers earlier. I mean, in terms of like computer chip technology, that is the way it is. As new materials, types of silicon are designed and developed, the new evidence of how the electricity flows through that silicon is used in newer chips and so on. So that is used in a lot of different components of science. So I mean, what you're describing is sort of a basic understanding of how that would work. The problem is it always accurate? Is there ever corruption? Is there ever money involved, agendas involved that would sway that process you described? Because that process you described is great if it's actually done well. But if it's in any way corrupted or fudged or spoofed or scammed in any way, shape, or form, then all of a sudden people are getting data from something that isn't valid.
Can the body of science ever be tested, or does it just
let me
stand?
answer.
Hold on. Let Gio and Jesus.
Let me answer what he said.
Yep.
Okay, so that's fine. All of the above is my answer to that. But what happens generally in science is that those things are discovered eventually. So they don't go undiscovered. And that's because there's people all over the world who are doing their level best to undo the current ideas about things. Everybody wants to make a name for themselves, and they do that by upending what the current ideas about things are. So
But
none
that's
of this goes untested.
Well, that's in a perfect world without, corruption. I mean, for example, like cannabis, for example, we were told all through the 60s, 70s, 80s, and 90s that cannabis was proven by scientists to cause brain damage, right? That's what we were told. Here's your brain on drugs. They showed the boiling egg and told us that, and a lot of our parents, thought that, cannabis destroyed your brain. Well, there was no science to back that up for whatever, in any way, shape, or form, yet it was being pushed as though that was verified science by scientists. Today, because of the illegality issues of being able to test it, now it's been proven to be neuroprotective. It actually protects neurons in the brain. Now, I'm not talking...
You made my point.
Yeah,
you absolutely made my point. and that is eventually whatever is corrupted will be fixed. Will be
Right, that's
found
what we're
out.
doing with the shape of the Earth. Yeah, we are all aware that the shape of the Earth is massively.
That's
what
just
we've
nonsense, okay?
Yeah, science is wrong about.
This is just a little game.
What's your not?
Oh,
Get
hold
this
on
No,
a
they
minute.
were wrong about cannabis and they're wrong about the shape. We're correcting it.
Get
Let
this
me
into
say
your
something
head.
though,
That's
Phil.
just a little game. all right?
No,
We're the new
Phil.
marijuana.
Let me
I like
respond.
that.
Let me respond to Phil real quick. So, Phil, how do we know? How do we know if they've been corrupted in the past and they've been wrong? That was decades, that example, and I'm sure there's many more examples we can think of. How do we know when they've been corrupted and they're lying against when they're telling us the truth? And do we just go along believing whatever they say the whole time and then take on any new information when they decide to tell us the truth, or we find it out? And how do we find out the truth to correct it? How's that process work?
All right, that's a good question, okay? And the answer is this: when you want to use something that they say to make a prediction that you need, then you can go along with what they said because it works. If you disagree with it, find a different way.
Wow.
If you think that relative density is the reason why things fall, then come up with your own formula for why things go up in the air and then come down. And how can I make a prediction about how long it'll stay in the air? Why don't you come up with your own formula?
Okay, that's what we're doing, Phil. We're here challenging science and the mainstream to make sure that they're correct.
Absolutely agree with
and to come up with our own way. That's not
Good.
science
I
denial.
totally
We're
agree
part of
with
the
all of that.
process then, right?
Totally agree with that idea. Go ahead and make up some new formulas for gravity. I
have
will
a question
use them
for
if
Phil.
they're good.
Okay.
I have a question for Phil. Yeah. It's going to be a statement first, then a
Shout out to
question.
Aaron.
So this body, this body of science, right? They have this book, of all the collection of data. In the last
I've got
chapter
one of those.
Yep. In the last chapter of this book, does it say the end?
We don't. Why would it say the? I don't know if it says the end. The end of a novel, perhaps. Not the end of a book.
Oh,
Why would it be
your
the
body
end?
of science book, that one, right? Where you get all your facts and formulas from.
I've got a book here that's about 5 inches thick. And all it has in it are different polymers.
Yeah. Does it say
all
the
this
end?
book has are
in the
the
last
different
chapter?
polymers. So it's a book on organic chemistry.
Mm.
Now, do you think that people have stopped inventing polymers this very minute?
Not sure what you're getting on about polymers, but does it say
Well, you
the
know
end?
what a polymer is, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so it's a collection of hydrocarbons and others put
Yeah, and a
together
force
to
string, I
create
get it.
something that to create a fabric. Well, new ones are created every single day.
But you're not answering the question.
And yet I've got a book here on my desk that's 5 inches
Does your
thick,
book
full
say
of
the
only
end
these things?
in the last chapter? Right. Does it say that's it? The
No,
end?
it doesn't
There
say
you-
that because
okay,
it can't
good.
be that's it.
That's what we're talking about now, Phil. Sorry.
Dr. Phil, is what you're saying that science never stops and it always progresses? Is that what you're trying to say?
Yes, of course.
Okay. If that's the case, all right, I'm going to give you a hypothetical scenario. If that's the case, is it possible that the previous version of the shape of the Earth was wrong, and this is science correcting itself? What we're doing right now, is that a possibility?
No, that's not a possibility. Sorry, that's the horse
The
is
end.
wrong,
But not that
The end.
You just smoked yourself, Phil.
No, because
it can be corrected in any other area, guys, but it can't be corrected in that one. That one's absolute.
Yep.
Nobody got
Yep.
it wrong ever.
That's why I said
No,
puff,
there are
puff.
things that
Brandon, he smokes himself. Puff, puff.
There are facts that are not going to change.
You guys always with the double speak, right? When it
There
comes
are
to
facts.
your science, you know everything, but then when it comes to some other new science, no, we already know everything. You guys don't need to invent nothing new. I mean, it sounds kind of viable, right? Like you guys could
I'm
just make
not
up
saying.
anything and it
Just
would
shut
be
up for a
correct.
minute.
I got three words. I got 3 words for Phil, and then I'll go on mute again. Hang on, Phil. Phil, I got 3 words, man. Let it in. Puff, puff, pass, brother.
Stop proselytizing and just let me talk, okay?
Hey, can I jump in
There
just real
are
quick,
things
Phil?
that are facts.
Hey,
There
Phil.
are things that you know about. There are things that you know about that are facts.
Phil, I have a question.
You know
Can
who
I-
your wife is. That's a fact.
That's
Can
true.
I ask you a question,
No
Phil?
science is going to change that.
Phil, can I ask you a
Kate
question?
Upton.
You've got 10 fingers. That's a fact.
Phil.
No amount of scientific counting
Phil.
is going to change
Phil,
how many
you're
fingers you have.
spiraling,
I
man.
think Phil doesn't know what facts are.
Phil, can I ask you a question, Phil?
The Earth is a sphere. That's a fact.
Phil, can I ask you a question?
That one can't be questioned.
Phil.
Yeah, that is a fact, but it's not true.
Can I ask you a
It's just
question?
like
Phil?
you've got 5 fingers. The Earth is a sphere. Okay.
Sure.
Which book do I find this sphere? Go ahead, Travis.
But I'm one of those Illuminati
Phil.
guys with 6 fingers on each hand, so that doesn't apply to me.
Phil, can I ask you a question?
Yes.
Okay. I am an avid photographer. Okay, I have absolutely fallen in love with taking pictures of nature. Okay.
Okay.
And one of the things that I have come to surmise, one of the things I've come to hypothesize, is that when we're looking at distance, that in this instance includes a mirage. It has been my hypothesis that the mirage is over the x-axis. Does that make sense to you?
Makes sense
Well,
to me.
I would have thought if I was thinking about a geometric plane, with Cartesian coordinates, I would think that horizontally across from my view would be the x-axis. That would be generally speaking where.
Okay,
where
well, okay, I can appreciate that distinction because I've looked that up and I've personally come to understand that the horizontal is the y. The depth,
not generally not. No.
Okay.
Why?
Okay. So in our discussion right now, then I shall
It doesn't
change.
actually matter where you choose. They're just arbitrary things.
Yeah.
It's arbitrary.
Just directions. Yes.
So just agree on one, guys.
Yeah. Okay. So let me say then, in my observations over the past 3 years, I have hypothesized in recent times that a mirage is over the y-axis. Does that make sense to you?
Meaning what exactly?
Okay, so that doesn't make sense to you.
No. That I understood every word. I just didn't understand them together.
Okay. What is the x-axis in your understanding of Cartesian coordinates?
Okay. Well, generally speaking, people would talk about if you're looking at a 2-dimensional plan, then the x-axis would be, horizontal one, and the y-axis would be the vertical one.
Okay, so what's the z-axis?
Or that would be across from those two, so in a different direction.
I apologize, but I don't understand what you mean. So I have a horizontal.
Think about a cross in one plane, and then across in
Phil,
another
think
plane.
3D, Phil.
3 dimensions.
Oh, I know, Aaron. Stop. I know. I love you,
Sorry,
brother.
Travis.
I love you, brother.
I think
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
pretty
yeah.
straightforward.
Travis, can we come back to this in just a second? I got 2 questions
Yeah.
to ask Phil, and then
Go ahead.
I'll let you guys go on this because I'm going to end the show because we're a half an hour over. This has been good, though. I got 2 questions for you, Phil, regarding this science you speak of. Is science an institution? That's question number 1. Is science an institution?
I guess it depends on your definition of institution, but science is carried out by many institutions, if you like. If you want to pigeonhole different disciplines of knowledge, then science is spread across many, many different disciplines. So to call science a single institution, I don't know. I don't think so.
So I can't go out and find the person who's in charge of. I couldn't go out and find the person who's in charge of science, could I?
No, of course you wouldn't be able to do that.
Okay. And
the dean of science.
The dean of science.
There's no such thing.
Okay, and here's my second question.
There's no such
Is
thing.
there an ultimate authority, an ultimate authoritative source for science?
No. Okay, that's actually a bloody good question. All right, and there isn't a single authority on science. What happens is people generally congregate around a group of people or a person or whatever who specialize in various aspects of science. For instance, in the time that Einstein was around, everybody wanted to speak to Einstein about the photoelectric effect. In fact, they gave him the Nobel Prize for it. Okay, and this, by the way, was one of the reasons I even joined today, because we were talking about photons, and I can tell you now that we know a lot about photons because of Einstein, because Einstein worked out that every time a photon hit the plate, it ejected an electron. This is how we end up with photovoltaic cells. I mean, here is a case of where science worked something out, made predictions, and then engineers came behind them and created machinery that used that science that was discovered. This is a perfect situation. It happens all the time.
We understand that things get created, people experiment and figure things out. We understand that.
started
We're not
off with the
anti-science,
scientists, though.
regardless of what you heard. But I think your
started off
answer to
with
my
the
question
scientists,
was
didn't it?
no, there is no ultimate authority on science.
Of course, there's no ultimate authority, but what there are lots of people who are specialists.
That's fine. They know a lot about a subject, but they're not an authority. They couldn't say, I couldn't take something to them and go, we need you to rule on this science question. And that's going to become the new...
No, they wouldn't be there, but there'd be a group of specialists who people would rely on to review the work of others.
Just like the lady down my street, Diana. Everyone in the neighborhood knows she's the best at making chocolate chip cookies. If you want some chocolate chip cookies made,
Perfect.
You go to Diana.
Brilliant. That's exactly it.
All right.
You got it.
I agree with most of what you said here tonight. But I appreciate that, because Rumpus was trying to tell us there is an authority and it is an institution. So I had some doubts about that. Thank you.
Professor Phil, is math science?
Well, maths is how we describe things that happen. So I need to be, if I do an experiment or I want to describe some method of motion, I've got to be able to describe that in a way that other people who are reading what I write understand perfectly what I mean.
Yeah, you've done an
may not
experiment.
like
What are
to
the
do
three?
that.
What are the
I
three
do that.
constituent? Hold on a second. You've done an experiment. What are the three constituent parts of an experiment, Phil?
Don't go down that stupid road, all right?
Do you know them? Do you even know them?
I'm a physicist. I've been a scientist for 47 years.
So tell me
Don't
them,
ask
three
me stupid
parts.
questions,
What the
all right?
fuck? I that makes no sense to me, Phil.
You're talking to a professor now. Use your bloody time.
So
Don't
answer
squander
the
it.
question,
Have you not
Professor.
squandered your education already?
Answer the
Three
question,
constituent
Professor.
parts. We could. It would have been
I'm
over.
not going to, stupid.
We would have been on to the next thing already.
How dare you question my...
Right. Don't squander your opportunity. Here you are. You're talking
Wasting our
to a
time.
physicist.
What are the
Why
three
don't you just
constituent
ask
parts so we can
some
move on?
decent questions?
You're wasting our time, Phil.
You wasting my time.
You're wasting my time.
Has anybody
So,
got a reasonable
Phil.
question to ask before I go?
No,
Yeah,
but
yeah,
thanks
yeah,
for
yeah,
coming
yeah,
in,
yeah,
Phil.
yeah,
I'm going to end the
please
show.
go,
Thanks to
Phil.
the panel. I appreciate it, guys.
Please go, Phil.
Okay. Well, that was fun. Yeah, there's a highlight clip in there somewhere tonight. I won't put it together, but that was some good shit. Some very good parts in there. We had Travis destroying the globe model of refraction for the 1,000th time. And Professor Phil completely contradicting everything that Rumpus had said just 20 minutes ago. And also not making a hell of a lot of sense in regards to when to believe science and when to question it and how that should be done. But I guess he's got to toe the line for the globe, so I get it. But anyway, I really appreciate it, guys. We'll see you tomorrow night, Friday Night Fight. And hopefully it'll be a good time. But have a good night. Thanks for watching the stream. Appreciate all the support. Thanks to the mods and the channel members. And we got a new intro coming soon. I hope you guys like it. It should be within the next few days, couple weeks or so. Finally, I won't say ranty on there anymore. No offense, ranty, but your brand has changed somewhat. We'll see you guys tomorrow. Bye.